Welcome to We Geek Podcast. It is June 3rd, and as always, I am Adam, joined by my buddy Logan.
Hello.
What up? And man, we got a lot of news this week.
We do, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think they all waited from last week, and they're like, you know what? Let's do it next week, and that's what they did. Got a lot to talk about today. A lot of movie news, TV, some games. We got comic books, which is pretty much, at least on my end, Secret Wars. And we got some other random news too to talk about, and some reviews. We'll talk about pretty much. I think Game of Thrones is the only thing on, and man, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get to that towards the end. Spoilers. And like we always do, the comic book stuff is probably going to be a little spoilerish. And let's be honest, if you're reading comics this day and age, you probably already read it. Or at least, I don't know most people that trade weight on Marvel stuff. Maybe if it was like Image, I don't know. But we're going to kind of spoil that towards the stuff. We'll try not to at the beginning, and then we're going to jump into spoiler territory and then go right into Game of Thrones and stuff. In the video game section, I'll talk a little bit about The Witcher. And I mean, I'll kind of tell you a little bit about just like one quest. And that's about it. Now, have you played any of it?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, yeah. So I'll talk some about that, and I'll talk about just one quest. It's not even a part of the main quest. It's not a hunt. It's actually one small quest that kind of, to me, defines what this game is and how just addicting it is. And I'll tell you about that experience. But yeah. So to get started, man. Well, first, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
I worked.
Worked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. My hours. The position I have, basically, it's full time if I want it to be. They're so flexible. On paper, it's full time, but I can only, if I want to, I can just be scheduled for 20 hours. It's really weird. I love it though. I love the company I work for. So whenever I kind of need a break, unless we're super busy, that's when I'm forced the 40 hours. I'm always given the 40 hours. So there's not a week where like I can't get my full 40 hours. But on some weeks where I'm like, gee, I need a break, it's nice to have those days where it's like, oh, okay, I only have to work 4 hours today if I need to take care of stuff. And that's what I did. So that's what I've been doing. I got a new roommate, and we got everything moved in, and he's a family member, so it's nice. And he's got his stuff together, so it's really cool. It's really cool. So I'm excited. It's been fun with that. Just getting everything situated and just relaxing. And it's kind of a short week for me, so I kind of put some time aside for that. But I did get to play some games, which we'll talk about later, and it's pretty much The Witcher. That's what. Also, well, we'll talk about that later. What I was just gonna say, I dived into a game that I haven't played in a while, but an old friend of mine. We haven't lost touch. We every once in a while we'll text each other, and just recently, he sent me a message, and he's like, "Hey, how would you think about playing this again?" And I was like, hey, if you're in, I'm in, because the problem with that game that I'm going to discuss later, you have to play with other people or it gets very boring and stagnant. So anyway, let's go into it. Let's start out with movies, man.
Okay.
Have you seen any recent movies?
No, I didn't get around to seeing anything today. Tomorrow's going to be movie day, I think.
Oh, nice.
I may double feature tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to see Mad Max, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, what's the other one?
I don't know yet. I might go see Tomorrowland. I'm thinking about it.
That's the one I want to see. I want to do a double feature. I want to do Tomorrowland, and I want to see what's the Rock one? Earthquake.
Oh, San
one.
Andreas. Yeah.
San Andreas. Yeah. It looks like they took the Universal Studios ride Earthquake, and they made a movie out of it. Which I know that
more or less,
ride is based off a movie. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, I want to see those two. When does Jurassic World come out?
June 12th.
Oh man, dude! Anytime I see the trailers, the trailer that gets me is the one that plays the classic music at the beginning. It brings it back, and I'm just like, oh. One of the game I want to get the Jurassic World Lego game. I don't know if you've seen it. I've kind of been in love with the Lego games as recently, the Marvel one especially. I downloaded the Star Wars one to my iPad, and I've been having fun with that. But yeah, I want to play the Jurassic World one. I mean, it's kind of weird because where's the regular Jurassic World game?
They don't know how to make one.
But that's the thing. Like, these movies, of all the movies that come out, you would think there would be good games based on these fantastic worlds, like
Yeah, wow.
Jurassic World, Avengers, like where are these games? That's the one thing that I think these companies are really dropping the ball on. But yeah, so that's what I want to do this weekend. I'm gonna go see my grandparents, and my grandfather's got a lot of stuff lined up for me to do. I think he's basically removing all the grass from his lawn. He's laid a bunch of stuff so it's going to kill the grass, and I got to go and dig up all of his bushes, especially the rose bushes from my grandmother, and put them, underneath her window and kind of in the backyard for now. So I got a lot of work to do there, but I'm going to relax and play some Witcher. But yeah, man. So all right, so we got some movie news. I guess we can jump into it.
Sure.
Yeah, I see the first one. Well, you talk about the first one, Doctor Strange.
And this is interesting, and I like this, and I'm also a little perplexed by it. There's a character in Stephen Strange has a mentor, as everyone in comics is wont to have, who kind of teaches him about the mystical arts and so on and so forth, and he's called the Ancient One. Now, the thing is, this is a character that was always like this stereotypical kind of Tibetan monk. The long beard and the beige shirt, the whole 9 yards. Right. So who's in negotiation to play this old mystical sage of sorts? Tilda Swinton.
Right.
And hey, look, I'm all for it. Mix it up. Let's throw some new ideas around. Why not?
Right. Yeah. No, that's totally out of left field for me. Then again, I don't know much about Doctor Strange. I'll be honest. I read the closest to Doctor Strange I've gotten is of course the new Avengers.
Right.
He's been in.
Yeah.
I read him in The Defenders. Did you read that? I think it was like 2010 or 2011 by Matt Fraction.
No, I missed that arc.
Oh, put that on your list. That's
okay.
One of those that was just most people didn't read, but I really liked it. It was Doctor Strange. It was Namor. I'm sorry, saying that wrong. Silver Surfer, Iron Fist, and I think it was Red She-Hulk. And it was fun. It was different.
Okay,
I liked it,
yeah.
but I haven't read much Doctor Strange. I saw the what is it? Doctor Strange Year One? What is it? Or what was it? The
season 1 maybe?
Was it the Netflix? It was a Netflix. It was on Netflix. It was the animated movie.
Oh, it was just like a movie. It was just Doctor Strange. Yeah, they did one for Black Panther too.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Black Panther one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I gotta see that then. For sure, because those are two characters that I just don't know much. And, like I said before, those are the movies that I'm really excited about. The ones that I don't know much about.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to go in going, okay, show me something new. Show me something different. And you can tell that's what Marvel wants to do moving forward. They're like, all right, we've established Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. Let's show these other cool characters. Which I guess, this can lead right into the other news. I don't have it in front of me, but it was Charlize Theron was rumored to be Captain Marvel. Did you see that?
Yeah, there is kind of the rumor going around that she's going to be cast as Carol Danvers, and then Angelina Jolie will be brought in to direct.
That's awesome.
Go for it. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and let me look up real fast. I just saw a movie she was in. I think it was called Unbroken.
That she directed, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. The movie she directed. I think it was called Unbroken. It was about a book, and I read the book years ago. Did she direct it? I guess she didn't direct it. Here, hold on a second.
I thought didn't she?
I thought yes, she did. Okay,
yeah,
so
I thought so.
Woo, yeah, Unbroken. It was a book about a World War II soldier. He actually won the Olympics for running during the Nazis, I guess, during that whole era. Or no, he won something.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, he was an Olympian, and he ended up going to war, and he was captured. Spoiler alert, on the islands, and the Japanese got a hold of him, and they tried to break him, so spoiler alert, that's what the movie's about. And so It was really good though. Like I really liked how it was well directed. I guess you would say it was a good movie. So I'm excited for that. I'm glad they're diversifying, they're getting some good talent in there. And oh man, if wait until you see Mad Max. We'll talk about that next week. And I'm sure you know how much talent she has, but in that film she steals the show.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Let's see here. What other news we got here? Oh, Tron 3.
Yeah, this was something that I wasn't a crazy big fan of Legacy, so I could take a third one or leave it. Like, it didn't really matter.
Right.
But Disney has decided they're not going to go ahead and move forward with a third Tron movie.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, I wasn't a fan of the last one. I wasn't really a fan of the first one. The first one, it was cool as a kid. I was like, all right, neon colors, and they're on bikes that are, lines and stuff. The second one of my friends really liked it, and, I was never like, oh, that sucks or anything, because I hate when people do that. But I was never a fan of it. And, I told him not too long ago, I was like, yeah, they're making a third one. He was super excited, so he's going to be bummed to hear that. But, yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I saw here is possibly because of how Tomorrowland did.
Yeah, it didn't, they were expecting, I guess, some crazy blockbuster numbers, and, they didn't get, I mean, it didn't do bad, but I mean, I can understand where they think it underperformed. So
right. I mean, I guess I could see. I could kind of see the bridge they're making there with Tomorrowland and Tron. It's a little bit. Tomorrowland to me, it's a little bit different, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the problem with Tomorrowland is most people didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I didn't, and we're like involved in this. We actually look up news and we read it every day, and I think they wanted people to be like, what is Tomorrowland? But that can only go so far.
Yeah, you run a big risk when you expect, obviously mystery is a good thing, but too much mystery going into a movie is bad.
Exactly. I think it works better on a different platform, like maybe television. I always go back to Lost, and I know Lost lost a lot of people, but to me, you already hooked so many people at one point. It's like you have enough cushion to continue going. With a movie, it's like it's make or break. Those first few weekends are critical, or else you can't tell people. What's the only thing that came? Cloverfield? That was a big mystery. Like it didn't even.
Yeah.
There was no title. But you still at least got an idea. Is like it's a monster film, and you're going to see it through the point of view of humans. The Tomorrow World, unless you saw that 6-minute preview, you probably had no idea what it was about.
No, and even then, like you're like, okay, there's there's future tech involved in some stuff, and like, okay, cool,
right, and there's like a brain trust of all the smartest people within a 50-year time span, and I had to actually do some research to find out. Like it had Tesla and Einstein and all this others and Disney and all these people involved in some underground society or whatever that wants to have a place where they can go where there's no war, famine, or all this other crap that we have to deal with on a daily basis. I had to research into that to even scratch that surface. So the regular person, like I kind of use my mom or my brothers as an example. They have no clue. They're just like, wait, is that like a music festival or what? They're a little lost. They're like, wait, the place at Disney, like they're making a movie about the area in Disney. So I don't know. But yeah, so this other news is interesting.
I was disappointed when I first heard this news, like the first part of it, and then when I heard the second part, I thought, okay, now I have to go see this.
Oh yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. 20th Century Fox greenlit a remake with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes.
To star Ashley Miller and Zach Stentz. How do you say that?
Stentz, yeah.
Stentz,
That's the part that I forgot there was a third part. Yeah, the first part was because look, Big Trouble in Little China was 1986, I think,
Yeah, that's when I
And
was
it's
born.
and it's like, okay, we're gonna remake that. Well, all right. Who are you gonna get to star in it? The Rock. Okay, tell me more. And the people who wrote X-Men First Class are gonna write it. Never mind.
Right.
You know me.
Yeah.
I have no love for that movie.
See, no, I actually liked First Class. I think I don't. Yeah, the script was a little weird. The characters they chose were a little weird. I don't know. The thing is, I always give The Rock a chance now. He's made some bad movies, but as of late, I like what he's in. And if this is done right, it could be fun.
Yeah, yeah, fair
I could
enough.
see the Rock. I could totally see the Rock in this role. Now it's been years since I've seen Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, it
Um,
should be on basic cable somewhere tonight. I think it always is.
yeah, it has to. It has to. I mean, I can't even tell you. I forgot the premise of it anymore. I just know it was wacky. Like it was just like very wacky, and it had Kurt Russell, and that's about it. But I don't know. I don't know. It could be cool.
We'll
Is this one
see.
of those remakes that no one asked for?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody here's the thing with that kind of argument. People are like, did anybody ask for this? Nobody
Right.
asked for any movie, essentially. Let's
Right.
think about that for a minute. But I understand the idea of like when it comes to reboots and remakes, there are some things that people are like, we would like to see this, we would like to see that. Nobody is saying we need to remake every Kurt Russell movie ever.
Right.
Although
Yeah.
that's where we're going now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's doing it full circle. I mean, especially since they're both in the Fast and Furious franchise.
That
I can
was-
imagine someone saw that film and it just clicked in their brain like, oh my god, let's put him, in Big Trouble in Little China. This big bull, like a bull in a china shop. Like, let's just put him in that film and make a bunch of jokes. But yeah, dude. Let's see
Yeah.
here. Moving on. Do you want to go with the Spider-Man one?
Yeah, let's do that because what was it, like a couple weeks back we talked about, we figured everybody was saying Asa Butterfield was kind of a lock to star, and it still kind of seems that way, but now we have a little more clarity on because they just did a casting not a casting, what am I looking for, a screen test down in Atlanta, I think, where they're shooting, wherever it is they're shooting Civil War, which I think is Atlanta. And who is it? Asa Butterfield, Tom Holland from The Impossible, Matt Lintz from Pixels, and Charlie Rowe from Red Band Society are all they are the list as far as we know based on this last screen test. And they've also narrowed down the directors somewhat. Ted Melfi, who directed St. Vincent, Jonathan Levine, who directed Warm Bodies, which is a terrible choice, and the two people who were working on the Vacation reboot, which I saw the trailer for and put my head through a wall, as well as John Watts, who's done commercials. And he also, and I couldn't find the title, but he directed a Kevin Bacon movie that just debuted at Sundance, I think. So he just did his first actual movie.
Is this what Sony? It's Spider-Man. It is literally the biggest franchise they have. I mean, Bond, I guess, but rumor is they're losing that to Warner Brothers. This is their biggest franchise, and this is what they have.
Well, look, Gareth Edwards had only done one movie before he did Godzilla, and he creamed it.
No, you're right, and the guys that did they did Captain America, they did Community and commercials.
Yeah.
So you're right. I should take that back, but
I understand your point. Like, is this the right kind of franchise? Are the stakes too high to be making a gamble like this? And it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
And the thing is, people are going to see it. I mean, this is Marvel is already, this is, and I wish Fox would do it. We know they won't because they don't want to play nice with Marvel right now. But Sony, hats off to them for doing this because it's going to get those people who are like, wait, we just saw him in Avengers. We need to go see him in Spider-Man. It's going to get the kids that love Spider-Man. It's going to get everyone who likes Spider-Man already. But I think there's a little bit extra, like, it makes you feel a little bit better knowing that they're playing nice with Marvel. There's just something there that you're like, okay, I'm going to give it another chance. And I'm not as bummed about a reboot. You know, if it was just Sony does another reboot and that's it and that was the news,
Nobody
people would
goes
be
in.
like, exactly, people will be like, all right, I'm done. Like, I don't want to see him go through his angst again and get his powers again and all that nonsense. Sony did it right. They said, we're going to do a reboot. He's going to show up in the Avengers, and when we do Spider-Man the first one, he's already going to be Spider-Man. That was just like, it was like that Star Wars moment when Disney bought Star Wars. The first thing out the gate, we're like, we're doing 7, 8, 9, original cast, shot on film, drop the mic. It was like,
much.
That's what I want to hear. And, of course, everyone is a very, standoffish at first, understandably, especially with Star Wars, because the debacle of the prequels.
Uh-huh.
But you get that feeling. You still get that feeling. Even if you don't want to admit it, you're like, this feels good. I like at least what direction they're heading. Where, I don't get that with Fox. I'm like, what are they doing? We're going to do Apocalypse in the 80s? And then what? Like, can we just
start all over again?
Exactly. And then they're going to start all over again with no direction, no cooperation with Marvel. And we'll talk about it later in the comics section. But you can see it is very clear that Marvel is trying to remove the X-Men of their universe from their posters, their pictures, at least in advertising. They have pictures, they have posters, all the stuff they're pushing out now. They've removed the X-Men and Fantastic Four from. They're basically, it's a big FU to Fox. Spider-Man's still there because they're playing nice with Sony. But all the X-Men, it's very clear that at least advertising-wise, marketing-wise, the new video games that are coming out, they're not going to have X-Men in them. And so it's kind of like, you can tell, we heard those rumors months back where the heads at Marvel were like, take down all the posters, take down everything. Fox isn't playing nice. And now you can, at least me, maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but you can kind of tell that was probably legitimate. Like, whoever's over there is probably like, Sony's playing nice, Fox isn't. Let's just, why would we ever promote any of this stuff? Let's kill off Wolverine, let's kill off their characters. The Fantastic Four have gone to hell. Even Doom doesn't like the X-Men, in the battle world. So it's like, you could tell behind the scenes they have some animosity against that. But we'll see. I don't get that feeling. Do you? I'm sorry, I don't get that feeling of excitement when I think about Foxes, but I do with Sony and Marvel.
I haven't been excited for any comic book movie that Fox has done. Really, there was one aberration, and that was the Wolverine. I liked that one. I was excited for that one. But since
I like Days of Future Past, and to be honest, that's what saved their little franchise. That's the only thing that got people excited, I thought. Was because that's what happened. Wolverine, the third one came out, the Wolverine, or second. Yeah. And then there was this like, what are they going to do next? And people just didn't like it. And I think personally the only thing that saved them was they went, oh, we're doing Days of Future Past, and it's going to have some of the original cast back.
And it's going to have it's going to have everyone from First Class who not a lot of people went and saw. Let's not forget it. First Class was not a moneymaker. What saved Days of Future Past was they said, here's everyone from First Class plus everyone from the other X-Men movies. Right. And Wolverine's going to tie them all together. And people went, oh, okay, Wolverine's going to be in this one.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I like James McAvoy. I like Michael Fassbender.
I do too.
These are some really talented people. Jennifer Lawrence, that had some good. It had potential. It just seemed like everything behind the scenes was a little weird, and they didn't. The writing. You're right. The writers of that, they just didn't do it well. They had the talent. And you can tell they're going to lose that talent very soon. And it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not excited. I think it's until they start playing like ball with Marvel, it might get me interested again. But yeah, man. All right, so that's Spider-Man. Let's move on to Transformers.
Here, you take this one. I hadn't heard this bit of news.
All right, so I guess there was some dust up about the writers. They were all males. So they just put on 2 female writers. Let's see here. I thought I wrote down their names. Where are they at? Uh-oh.
Well, while you're looking for the names, let me say this. The fact that it was just men that wrote the Transformers movies was not the problem. Look, those movies just suck. Okay,
Right.
And I mean the effects are great and the audio is great. All the sound design, the mixing, those 2 elements combined are fantastic. The acting sucked. The writing sucked. We could go on and on and on. It wasn't hey, I'm all for more diversity. I'm all for different perspectives. I say, look, I agree with the idea that we do need less men making all of the decisions and creating all of the things. But I don't think this is going to immediately fix the problem. I think it's much deeper than this.
Well, what I think it is when you see the Transformer films, you can tell Michael Bay just...
Yeah.
It's very, like, here's some eye candy. Here's Megan Fox. Like, the love interests were very much just eye candy the whole way through. And I think that's a problem. I think when it's just like shot at, believe me, I like, like, I like that kind of stuff to a point. I very much like that stuff, but at the same time, it's like it's too much. Like, we need strong female characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eye candy's great. You know what I mean? And if you're a girl and you like to go see Magic Mike, good for you. You know what I mean? But it's like when that's all there is, and that's all that's on the plate. It's like that's stupid.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it seemed Transformers was like.
Yeah.
It was just like, just eye candy, eye candy, eye candy. Why? Let's get something interesting going. Like, let's have a good story with a strong female character, and not just have her, straddle a motorcycle or open up a, it's just you could tell Michael Bay was all over it. The writers, it was Christina Hudson and Lindsay Beer, and honestly, I don't see any writing. There's one that says Shut In. Christina did Shut In, and Lindsay did Short Circuit. Which is the it's announced. So they're very fresh, very new. And so I mean I think it's the studio's just knee-jerk reaction when it got a lot of negative press that they just had. They were like, all right, well it's So
it seems like they responded to their problem with the writers the same way it came down to the movies. It was like, what? You want? Okay, fine. Here, women.
Right, exactly.
It does kind of seem like that. And look, I would love to be wrong. I would love for this to have been a serious, thought out, very well contemplated decision. But it's Hollywood. Come on, we've sadly got a long way to go, I think.
Well, they're in talks, they said, about doing, they want to do, like, spin-off films. They wanted to do Cybertron, and they want to do movies that doesn't necessarily have to take place with the main characters, which at this point, their main characters have already switched.
I was going to say, there are no main characters. The main characters are the Transformers. Like, that
exactly.
We don't need... That's really been my biggest problem with these movies, is get rid of the damn humans. I don't care. I've never cared. I've never wanted to care. You're going to make a movie about big giant robots fighting, then just have the big giant robots fighting. Don't try to shoehorn in drama and all of this nonsense. I mean, that was kind of the problem. They were trying to make an after-school special in the midst of a Transformers episode, and it just didn't work.
Well, I have to be the devil's advocate here. I did like the first one. I liked the Shia LaBeouf stuff. I liked the parents stuff when it was in the first one.
The first one was
I liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought it wasn't what I was expecting. It was cool. I liked it. I know it got a lot of heat. It was the second one that was just like, it was more of the same. And it was like, okay, we've already seen this.
But worse.
We've already seen the parents embarrass him. Now we're seeing it for 20 or 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And the story went bananas, yada, yada, yada. I thought the first one I think that one was the best.
I looked at the first one and I thought, okay, that was a nice try.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I really thought after that was going to be the end. I thought they were going to look at that and go, well, that that wasn't what we were expecting at all, so we're going to move in a different direction. Because again, the first one, I mean, it turned a profit, but it didn't, look, from a business standpoint, it would have been really stupid not to make the rest of them, because they've made billions, plural, of dollars. But I just,
we're not going to see anything different until Michael Bay leaves the project.
Exactly.
That's what I think is going to happen. Until he leaves and they get other talent in there that are like, let's make some different decisions, let's make something a little bit different. We can still have the same, CGI, the same the same, effects. That doesn't have to change. But the guy, I mean, who sits there and thinks of these just wacky, stupid robots that are nowhere near anything from what the comics or the cartoon was? What was there, some racist ones in the second one, and they had balls at one point. Like, it was just stupid. You could tell it was like a man-child writing this. It was just stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, yeah. But anyway, let's move on from Transformers. There's a Sony hack documentary in the works.
Yes, okay. Because we have to make a documentary about everything.
Yeah, who's gonna do it? Sony?
Look, I had something clever to say and I lost it. So I can't.
Yeah.
It's just, look, okay, sure, fine, whatever. It's not like that played out. Look, it was like having it's like that they're making a feature-length, fictionalized, based on a true story version of everything that happened with Bat Kid. Remember Bat Kid in San Francisco? And they did the documentary about him, and it followed him around and everything that happened, and that was great. And then who is it? Warner Brothers that actually is making, and I don't know if it's come out or if there was just a trailer for it came out or something recently. They're doing a based on a true story version of that.
What?
Yeah, like they're doing it's like they said, okay, here was a neat thing that happened, and so somebody made a documentary about it. Okay, great, fine, whatever. Now they took that documentary and everything that happened, and they're using that as the basis of a feature-length motion picture.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I saw what was it? Bat Kid Begins, the Wish Heard Around the World, which was just a documentary.
The actual documentary. And that,
right.
Again, and
that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's, of course, we're, even though we all saw it happen, and, a lot of, we all kind of rooted for him and everything, there's still going to be the documentary about it, and that's fine. That's to be expected. But I think it's Warner Brothers, and I may be wrong because I don't remember, I don't have it in front of me, but they are releasing, I think later this year, a feature length, like based on a true story, Bat Kid, like honest guy, and I thought that is the perfect example of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like we had it, man. Leave it be. Let it be what it was. We don't, I mean, how many? It's like we talked about on one episode. We have like another Steve Jobs biopic in the works.
Right. We don't need one every 3 years.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more that'll come out. And, it's like how many different Cinderella movies do we need in a year, or Snow White movies, or Tarzan movies, like at the same time. Like, come on, man. Really?
You know what would be interesting? And I kind of said this when the whole Steve Jobs things happened. The movies, it's like we're going to see the same story over and over again. We're going to see the same thing, his life story. That's what it's going to be about. I would rather have this. Show me, and I know some TV shows are starting to do that with, was it
Halt and Catch Fire?
Halt and Catch Fire. I would love to see a television show done like that, but with Steve Jobs or, Wozniak or even Bill Gates, something in that era where just computers blew up. Show me a serialized, TV show, 10 episodes a season or 13 or whatever, but very, well done show. I would rather that than another film of the same thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're looking for more like Mad Men, but with Microsoft. Or
exactly.
something like that.
Exactly. And Halt and Catch Fire kind of scratches the itch a little bit, but since it's, fictional or whatever, I don't know, it's not the same. Right. I would like it where it's just teeters on where those are real characters, and they talk about real things that happen, just like Mad Men does. There's Comrade Hilton, and there's like real people that were in there. So I don't know. But you're right. It's a lot of the same thing, like we just talked about. We're getting a new Spider-Man rebooted. They've run out of ideas. Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait for yoga hosers.
Wait, what?
I said I can't wait for yoga hosers. At least it's quasi different.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't.
That's the Kevin Smith film, right?
Yeah, it's basically what he's doing is he's basically made Tusk, or not Tusk. He's basically made Clerks, but with instead of Randall and I completely forgot the other character's name. He's using the girls from Tusk, who were the convenience store clerks. His daughter and Lily Rose Depp. And it's going to be them as Canadian convenience store clerks.
Oh, that's cool.
Basically, and that's what I mean. Like, it's kind of different, at least, because it's not exactly Clerks.
Right. Okay. So yeah, you were saying Dante and Randall. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I've only seen like stills from it, and you're absolutely right. Yeah. It looks like, but that's what he does best.
Exactly. And look. And a lot of people have said a lot about Tusk, but I've got to applaud the fact, and this is something anybody that might be interested in this. That whole thing came about because he and Scott Mosier were making jokes on Smodcast.
Right, yeah.
And they were like, here's a thing, a guy will give you free room and board if you dress up as a walrus for 2 hours.
Right.
A day or a week or whatever. And to hear them like make jokes about it and come to the conclusion of, look, there's a movie here and we've kind of planned this out, but nobody is going to make this movie. Nobody wants to see this movie except us. So let's work on getting it made. And they went and they got it made, and it's crazy, and it's not a masterpiece, but I love the fact that they said, here's an idea. Here's an actual different idea, and we're going to make it into a movie. I love that, and I want to see more of that. Even if the movies are horrible and tank, or if there's something awesome. I don't know if you saw Ex Machina recently.
Yeah, I did.
Awesome, tiny little movie, and it's perfect. It's not crazy out there, whatever, but it's unique.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Moon. It reminds me of Moon.
Yes, that was another one. Like these, I love those that come along every once in a while, especially, because everybody talks about what we're talking about now. Like, oh, Hollywood's creatively bankrupt and blah, blah, blah. That's because these movies don't make $1 billion, but they're out there.
When you think of sci-fi, everyone's trying to make Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's these little science fiction films where you don't have to be a big space opera that are really interesting. Like Ex Machina. That whole film, like I was in love with it. Just from the beginning to the end, I was like, who's... I don't want to spoil anything, but the whole time it had me thinking, it had me wondering, like, I don't even want to get into it because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but go see that film.
Absolutely, go see it.
The whole time, it just had my head moving, and I was just like, what is going on in this? This is so interesting, and I didn't want it to stop. And, and it's a ride. I loved it. And it was kind of like, Moon's another one. Moon's very quiet. It's very... it's slow, but it's good. It's interesting. It's like, man, like you really feel something. It's it's like art. How people say you got to feel something. You feel something when you watch that film. You feel how just desperate he is, and how depressed he is, and how just that whole scene at the end of Moon. Not the end. I don't know. It's kind of towards the end.
Towards the end. Yeah, I know.
He's sitting in in his Rover or whatever, and that music, and he's just like, you feel it, and you're just like, shit, like that guy is alone. More alone than most people have probably ever felt, and you kind of feel that, like you feel for him, and it's those movies where it actually makes you feel something like that. That's fantastic. Like there needs to be more of that in this world.
There needs to be a wider acknowledgement of these kind of movies, because they're out there. There are hundreds of them every year that are solid movies, but everybody, I think the problem is people either don't. I think the biggest thing is they don't know about them. It's not
Right.
a case of like mainstream snobbery or anything where they're like, oh, I don't watch art movies or indie movies.
Right.
I don't actually think that's the problem. I think it's just because people don't hear about these movies.
Exactly. Well, my friends, like I said, I have a really diverse group of friends. A lot of them are not like this is an outlet for me to like geek out with you, but a lot of my friends are not like-minded like me. It's like it goes in one ear out the other, or they just listen to me to be nice. And when they're like, they're like, what's out? I'm like, well, Avengers, this kind of stuff. It doesn't tickle the fancy. I'm like, go see Ex Machina, or am I saying that wrong? What is it?
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, yeah. I'm like, go see that film. Like that you'll enjoy. And my buddy, he went and saw it and he was like, you were right. Like that was super cool. Like that was interesting. And so you kind of have to, because like I said, not everyone's going to like the big blockbuster films. So I'm like, go see that. You'll like that. So I always kind of have something like that on the side. If so, and that's one thing. Someone, if someone's like, oh, this all the films you kind of usually like superhero films. You like, I'm like, no, like go check these out because these are actually really good too.
Yeah.
And so we need more of that desperately.
Here.
And speaking of the opposite of what we just said, Star Wars news. I guess it's just a little bit of rumor that the second spinoff is going to be like a Western style story.
Okay.
Now, by who is it? Favreau. I always say that.
Favreau. John Favreau. Yeah.
John Favreau and Vaughn, who he did the X-Men, right?
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn. Yeah.
Matthew Vaughn. Yeah. So either of those I'll take.
I would love. Well, let's everybody think about this. Who would you rather have? The guy who directed Iron Man or the guy who directed First Class?
Right.
To me, that's a no-brainer.
You know what though? You know who would be super dope for this?
Who?
I'll let you think. Spaghetti Western.
I don't know. I can think of a couple.
Come on, Spaghetti Western.
Well, I'm not picking the obvious one.
I can only think of one person, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, you could do that too, but
Quentin Tarantino Boba Fett film. How? Just wrap your head around that.
I can, and I think that's sort of the problem. Like, I can see it.
I would love that. It's perfect. It's too good. It would never happen. Think about it, man. Think about a spaghetti western with Boba Fett as just a badass, and let's just say he's got 8 people to kill. Just a list of 8 people, and that be the film. And you can have Han Solo kind of in the background. Maybe they team up towards the end. Who knows? It could be crazy. And that's the other rumor is that Han Solo is going to be a big part of it. So who knows if he's going to – because – we don't know if Han Solo and Boba Fett were friends at one point. They could have been best buds and something really bad happened. And so from that point forward, they were just like, oh shit, that's Boba Fett. I better not be in the same room. Who knows? The possibilities are endless at this point because now they kind of have a clean slate.
Yeah.
So, it could be like a Han Solo Boba Fett buddy story where it's like a Western and they're like, friends with Chewie and everything, and then something happens where they just I'm just fanboying out here, but
so it's basically the story of Obi-Wan and Anakin all over again.
Exactly. But just wrap your head around Quentin Tarantino doing Boba Fett. I would love that. It'd be like you already got one called what is it, Django? I'm just kidding. Under your belt, so it's why not? Oh man, that I can dream. Okay. But yeah. So I don't know. I love that Western style story. It's perfect. I like that. But yeah. So
I'm sorry. I'm just replacing Pulp Fiction lines with Star Wars names in my head.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it would be perfect. But one can dream. So we're gonna transition into TV, and we're I guess gonna do the one that is transitionable. I guess I don't even know if that's a word. But Sony, and I think we talked about this before, is developing a combo TV series and film. To do with the Dark Tower.
Yes.
You see that? Yeah, and it's going to be, I do not want to pronounce this name if you want to go for it.
I'll give it a shot. Nikolai Arcel. I'm going to throw out there. I'm terrible with names. I try to be better, but I don't have it phonetically in front of me.
but you're much better than me, so it's okay. And he was known for co-writing screenplay for the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. But yeah, dude, it's we talked about this before. The only other thing that I know that kind of jumps between television shows and movies was Star Trek and like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Pretty much, and even like Star Trek to a point was mostly the films were more or less a continuation from Next Generation at that point.
That's true.
Like
that's true.
you had the first handful that were connected to the original series, of course, and then you had Generations, which transitioned between the two series, and then the rest of them carried on, and the quality dropped rather quickly.
Right. Yeah, dude. It's I mean, the Dark Tower I heard about. I started to read it years ago. I was at a bookshop with someone and forgot what I got. I think it was actually around the time when I started Name of the Wind instead. Because I was trying to figure out what book I wanted to read, and someone was like, "You should read that." I was like, I don't know. And then I was told about Name of the Wind, picked it up, loved it, and that's why I never really read that. I have the book somewhere, The Dark Tower, I just don't know where, but I never really got into it. But that's one of those where I've heard from fans could be like the next Game of Thrones or the next...
That's exactly what I'm comparing it to, in the sense of like before Game of Thrones was a TV series, like back when it was announced years ago. I was in a van going to an academic quiz competition, and this one of the guys on the team, one of my friends who had read all the Song of Ice and Fire books up to wherever they were at the time, was hard selling everybody on this. And
right.
and I've seen the same thing with The Dark Tower. Like, people who have read it are just hammering on this. Like, if it's done right, it could be the most awesome thing on the planet, and just hammering on this. And I'm like, okay, cool, all right.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So, and I think, because Game of Thrones only has a few seasons left, and once that's done, there's going to be a lot to live up to. There's going to be a big hole.
Yeah.
Walking Dead's huge, of course, but it's still not Game of Thrones big. Well, you know what I mean? Like on the scale that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, the production is big on Walking Dead. It's huge, but it's not, I don't know. To me, it's not as engrossing as Game of Thrones, and not as, and we'll get into this week's. I thought this week's was holy shit. Like
it's not as epic.
It's not as epic.
Literally
exactly.
epic.
When you're watching Game of Thrones, there's moments when, of course, it's slow, because that's kind of the misconception. A lot of people are like, Game of Thrones is action, and it's really not. It's really slow. There's a lot of slow points. Even in the first season, like, they went out of their way to not show battles because they couldn't afford it at first. But the set pieces are huge. The attention to detail is huge. The way they shoot it, the way they film it, it's like a film. If I sat down and showed someone this week's episode of Game of Thrones and showed them Lord of the Rings, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
No,
it's huge. Right. There's that production behind it. So there's going to be a big hole to fill. Now, me and you, we love Name of the Wind. That whole series is fantastic. Yes. I personally would have liked HBO to pick it up, but, FX has. Who knows? It might switch hands. You never know. So anyway, what's next? That could be big. Dark Tower, those kind of things. You can tell that the studios are kind of trying to figure that out now, especially when they're buying up franchises like that.
Yeah.
Getting the rights.
Oh, yeah.
FX has to. I hope they do something good with Name of the Wind.
I'm praying, man.
I would have really loved AMC or Netflix at least, or HBO would have been the big one.
Yeah. Well, going back and reading through that, and I'm thinking where, I'm just trying to pick a network for this to land on, and HBO just always kind of seems like the logical choice anymore.
Right, because we've seen what they did with
with Game of Thrones, and AMC's great. Don't get me wrong. AMC could totally handle something like this too. And FX, FX has some pretty heavy series under their belt. Justified ran for what, 5-6 seasons. That ain't nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Sons of Anarchy for 7.
That's
I
the big
think.
one.
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of series,
Yeah.
but that's, to me, that's the one where I'm like, okay, they could do it.
They showed that they can do, this isn't just a rerun network anymore.
Right.
I mean,
The
FX
FX is getting strange though, because now they have like FXX, right?
Right. Well, I mean, but that's just the expansion. They've got two and I mean, it's the same reason why there are 12 ESPNs. You have content.
What I think happened was FX put all of its like haha like funny stuff on FXX, right? Because FX to me now is more like AMC. They're trying to be like AMC.
Yeah.
Where they have like the serious programming and they have the movies. And I mean AMC, we should all kind of remember, it used to be a movie,
Yeah, it was all
American
just
movie channel.
It was just old movies, and for them to transition to what they are now, I mean that's show me that documentary. Like I want to see that behind the scenes process.
That would be cool, man. That would be cool. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's it is what it is. But yeah, I saw that and I thought that was cool. But yeah, let's see here. I see that the Wicked and the Divine adaptation coming to Universal TV.
Yeah, this was again this is another. This is another comic that I keep hearing, like, you gotta read this, and I just have not gotten around to it, but I hear nothing but good things. And this is another one from this kind of lineup. What was the other one? What was the Matt Fraction book they picked up not too long ago? Why am I blanking on this?
Matt Fraction.
Oh, man.
Wait, so what channel?
The same, I think it's...
Sex Criminals?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that's going to be made into a series? I forgot that.
Yeah, this was a while ago. Yeah, they picked that up.
That could be a dope show. So it was... Okay, I don't, not to get personal, but do you have Universal TV? I don't. I
think. I don't know. Like, I've seen it on the guide, but, like, I've never checked.
I have. I have too. I think, but I don't think it comes with like because I have Bright House. I have the standard package, the HBO. I got the standard, the high def and whatever, and I got HBO. But I think Universal's extra. I thought maybe
it may vary by carrier. I mean, I have no idea.
I pay too much as it is. I'm not gonna pay. I don't know. That's one of those. I'll wait till it comes out on DVD or find another way to watch it.
Yeah.
Borrow someone's.
Well, because I mean, Universal TV is like until I ever see a movie like this, I forget it's a network.
Exactly.
I really do, and
I even sometimes forget USA's a network.
This is true.
Yeah, it's slowly. There's TV's getting bigger, but to me, there's smaller and smaller that I'll actually pay attention to.
And I mean, that's the thing. It's getting bigger on different networks.
Right.
I mean, USA had a good run for a while, and I know they've still got some series that they're pushing and everything.
They still have wrestling?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's USA that has the wrestling. And I saw that they got, was it the Thursday night or Friday night thing?
Yeah, SmackDown's moving to USA as well.
Okay.
But I mean,
speaking of that, I completely forgot that I had the WWE Network.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah, I turned in, I was like, I heard there was a pay-per-view, so I turned it on. I was like, oh, I can watch it. I forgot.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, and I mean, so I guess the USA is still a big thing. And I know there was
Burn Notice, but that ended.
Oh, okay.
White Collar ended. Covert Affairs ended.
Oh, wow.
Necessary Roughness canceled.
So they're probably playing Kurt Russell movies now, right?
They have, I mean, they have Suits, I think is their kind of flagship original series now, and it's kind of the only one left, I think.
Oh, wow.
Like they've kind of been going through them. I mean, I used to joke how many NCIS marathons they ran. That and Law and Order were like all they ran until.
That's on Ion now, right?
It's on everywhere.
Well, I went. Just a moment.
Criminal Minds is on Ion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. Anytime I go to my dad's house, it's like always on Ion because he loves the NCSI, CSI, all that stuff, and it's just Ion, and I'm like, what the hell is Ion? But it
used to be PAX.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah.
and I saw Kimberly, the Pink Power Ranger, but it was some like
She was on. I know this. I
nope,
I know this. I don't remember it, but I know.
it was like a SWAT team show.
It was not Flashpoint or Flash.
That's it.
That's it.
Flashpoint.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it. I know it.
She was in the Flash. She was in the DC crossover.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
She played
man, I
Lois
had
Lane.
that sitting on my desk, and I want to reread that too.
You should. It's a good story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After watching that Flash,
Oh man.
it makes me interested. I went and that was one thing I did read from the DC, and we'll talk about it, I guess, later. But the DC, or we do it now. The DC Convergys. One of the ones I recommend, if you go back and want to read any of the Convergys stuff, read the 1 through whatever.
No, don't.
The Convergys, yes. I think as a whole, just 1 through whatever it was, the main
8.
part.
Yeah, 1 through 8.
It drags its feet, and it's
Constantly.
seriously confusing as hell in the
Yes.
end.
And it's because the whole thing is like, well, what changed? Well, remember what happened at the end of Flashpoint, where the main universe kind of changed a little bit? What happened at the end of Convergence is the entire rest of the multiverse kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know what happened in the last few pages of that series.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it rewrote all of the events that rewrote everything. Was essentially what it was. And that's why I was like, this whole thing was just a waste of time. No wonder it didn't sell.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah,
I totally
Marvel doesn't do that. As close as Marvel gets to this like universe or whatever, it's always I don't know, Marvel doesn't get that weird, if that makes sense.
No,
they get fun with Battle World, but it's not like it doesn't make my brain melt when I'm like, what the hell is going on with all these worlds? So anyway, back on track here. What were we talking about? The USA Network? Jesus.
Convergence and Flashpoint. Yeah, there was a Flashpoint.
That's right.
Yeah.
God, I get so sidetracked.
That's all right.
This is how my mind works. But yeah, so we'll talk about comics in a little bit. Let's go into video games now. I saw that.
Well, we still got some TV to do. We didn't do like any of the TV.
Oh wait, did we not do TV?
Barely.
Am I jumping? Oh, you're right. Back up. All right. Why was I jumping around? Okay, yeah, Wicked and Divine. Then we went to the Sony. That's why I jumped around. Okay, this one is kind of big. Mega Man.
Yes.
What?
Yes, Capcom
Tell
announced.
me about this.
Capcom announced today they're doing a 26-episode animated series in 2017, and
okay.
It's coming from Dentsu Entertainment USA, which has had its hand in producing, honest to God, hundreds of anime. I mean, the credits were just way too long to list. And the Man of Action production company, which did all of the Ben 10 stuff.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's pretty much Mega Man, Ben 10.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
But so they're gonna work together and co-produce this show, and I'm thinking, okay, great, maybe in another 5 years we'll get a new Mega Man game finally. You know?
Right.
One foot in front of the other, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people that love the game seem burned. Yeah, it's kind of a weird direction to go in, especially when people want a game.
But
like, no, here's this TV show.
Yeah, it's like, but hey, I'll give it a shot. The comics running strong. And because especially now they're crossed over with Sonic in one of the. I mean, you want to talk about a head trip, Jesus.
Yeah, I that was one I did see at the shop, and I was just like, "What is?" And my buddy Earl just stopped me. He goes, "Nope, it's not for you, Adam." I was like, "Okay, all right."
There you go.
That's all I needed to hear. But yeah, dude, So what is okay? So Fox is developing a limited series Prison Break.
Yeah, you remember, Captain Cold and Heatwave used to be on a TV show together,
right?
So they're talking about doing like a limited, like they did with 24, where they're going to say, hey, let's do like a dozen episodes to bring this back. Mm-hmm. There's a big problem with that, though, when it comes to Prison Break.
See, I never saw it, so I assumed...
This was another Heroes. I think before it was Heroes, in that the first season was kind of a cool idea. It was neat. I enjoyed it, and then it tanked, and it ran for like 4 seasons, and then a TV movie, and it kept going downhill all the time.
Well, it was like those, we have a great idea, and after the first season, you're like, holy shit, wait, we're picked up again? What do we do?
Exactly. So they just kind of did the same thing again in different settings for the next couple years, and it just, you could tell they were like, they don't have a game plan here.
Why don't they do a Prison Break 24 crossover and do like a Arrow and Flash and be done with it? That would be fun. I'm just kidding.
It's just...
it would work, but no, I'm just kidding.
It would be interesting.
You could see both sides of the equation with the guys from 24 on one end and the guys from Prison Break on the other. Come on. That would be cool.
Well, you couldn't... I mean, that's the thing, though. And everybody tune out for like the next 8 seconds if you haven't seen Prison Break. Wentworth Miller's character, who was the lead on that show, died at the end of it.
So how are they gonna? Is it gonna make a prequel?
That's my question.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
And in like the lamest possible way too.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, so everybody can uncover their ears now. But
okay.
I mean, just it's like this. I don't know. I'd be interested, and I think it's coming from people watching them on Flash and saying, wait a minute, remember when these two were on this show? And like, yeah, the show was kind of bad, but these two had great chemistry together, and they still do, and like, it's really cool. And so they're, and so they said, hey, we could do something with this. And again, as they demonstrated before, they haven't really thought this one out.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So we'll see. Look, it's a thing. I would recommend. I recommend the first season, because it's actually pretty interesting. But, again, the like next 3 after that, it's like, it's the same thing, but in a city, or in a desert, or in wherever in the hell they were. It's like, no, stop after season 1. Just stop. Right. And it has, the other thing that was great about it, do you remember the Clock King from Arrow and Flash? He's also in this one. This was kind of where he got started, was in Prison Break. And he's creepy as hell. He's awesome. I love him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he was in this, and he was awesome.
Okay, yeah, no, dude. It would be interesting. I never saw Prison Break. That's one of my buddies keeps telling me to see that, and I watched the first few episodes. Was not interested. I don't think it interests me. But I don't know. I mean, that's cool. It's kind of like you said, the 24 thing. Like, if you were into it, it'd probably be interesting. It can't hurt that it's going to be a shorter season. I think it's going to probably be a little more compressed. They don't have to stretch it out 24 episodes. But yeah, I kind of sometimes wish Arrow was like that. I think Arrow would be a lot better if it wasn't 23 or 24 episodes.
I kind of agree with you.
The Flash has been good, so I'm not going to
let the Flash run, man.
Exactly.
I'm all for.
I mean, there are some episodes where I'm like, oh, come on, but not as much as Arrow, not as anywhere near as Arrow. I enjoyed the Flash every episode, but that the Arrow could be compressed a little bit, or just take it, I guess, in a different direction. But yeah, so speaking of old shows coming back, that has kind of been back, but I don't know. Arrested Development gets its new season. Starts production January 1st, and I think they're going to release it. It says about 4 months after that.
Okay.
So I want it. I love Arrested Development. I love the characters. The cast is hysterical. They need to get them in the same damn episodes again. That was the problem with their Netflix first time. I think they heard that loud and clear, hopefully. Netflix listens to people, so that's the studio that I always give the benefit of the doubt. They need to put all the characters in the same room. They don't all have to, of course, be in the same room together, but none of this Michael goes and visits all of them in separate episodes. And then at the very end, it's supposed to all make sense. A day in the life of him visiting all of his relatives. I didn't like that. How did you feel about that? Do you like Arrested Development?
I've never watched it.
What?
I know.
Are you what?
That's one of those that everybody has that exact same reaction. They're like, "What do you mean you've never watched the show?" I'm like, it's
what?
Exactly. I'll
get
around
to watch
to
that like to this week. you need to put it, whatever the Fox, not the Netflix. After you watch the Fox ones, you're gonna have to watch the Netflix one.
Well, because they're all on. I mean, isn't the
It's true.
entire run on Netflix? I think.
That's true. That's true. Just start with season 1 and go. I'll warn you. The first ones are fantastic. It's a masterpiece. Literally, it's just like Freaks and Geeks season 1. It's in the same boat as Firefly. It's just those. It was just magic. It was lightning in a bottle. I guess that's the phrase. And then Fox did what they did. You know what I mean? But yes, go watch that show. I hope the new ones are like that, because it's not a spoiler. It's just really about a wacky family. All of these characters and actors are huge. Some of them were huge going into it, and especially now they're huge going out of it. Like, all of them are big, and that's what the big problem was getting them all together again, because they're so big now. It was like, okay, how are we going to get all these actors that are all in different projects back together again? And they did it, but I don't know. I hated the way they did it. It was basically the main character visits one character one day, maybe two, and then the next episode he's with another character, and then the next he's with another, and it doesn't play right. They all play well off of each other when they're in the same room feeding off of each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exciting. I love that. Oh, God, go see that show. In a few weeks, I hope we could talk about it, because holy shit, that is really good. Oh, wow. Yeah, so it's going to be its 5th season.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. The plan is to return to the original format for the 5th season.
There you go.
God, I'm on board. Sign me up. I think that's it for TV news, unless I missed something again.
Well, the 24 spinoff. Like, that's.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. I guess I mixed that up with the.
Well, I mean,
Prison Break.
It's just kind of like, hey, look, here's a thing.
Yeah.
It's their way of rebooting the franchise, because they were like, hey, the limited, Die Another Day did really well, so we need to reboot it without the people that everybody knows from it, because that's how it's gonna work, because that always works, right?
Right. Yeah. It's Fox's way of going back to the well, and they're gonna give probably the tease of Jack Bauer in an episode or two, but yeah, it is what it is. It's just like we talked about with Prison Break. It's gonna be interesting for the people who are really into those. The rest are probably leave it on the table.
Yeah, they just goes, oh, that's a thing. Pass.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get moving along, because we still got a lot to talk about. Video games. Need for Speed.
Yeah, this is just a quick little tidbit. There was a page that went up on Microsoft's Xbox site sometime earlier this week, and then it got yanked down immediately, because
of course
those are the things that happen. It's like, hey, this went live. No, take it down. But
right.
It just kind of outlined some of the gameplay elements, like there are going to be some overarching stories, and you can kind of pick and choose. It wasn't tremendously clear, but that's okay. But the big takeaway was they had a release date down for November 3rd, which I gotta tell you is a little more ambitious than I was expecting.
Right.
I figured this to be like next year.
Yeah, well, it's we just heard about it.
Yeah,
and that's weird, because usually it takes years to make a video game.
But this could be a thing where like they've been working on it, kind of behind closed doors after, because it's the same studio that did Need for Speed Rivals, which the last couple Need for Speed games have not been tremendous. But, so apparently they've been working on this. It doesn't say for how long, but this was their next project. Rivals came out in 2013. So I'd imagine they've probably been working on this for at least a year, maybe a year and a half, depending on how much post-release work they had to do with Rivals. Mm-hmm. Patches, DLC, what have you. But, they've been working on this for at least a year. And I imagine we're going to see some of this at E3, because EA has their own conference. So I'm sure we're going to see some of this.
Maybe they're going the route like Bethesda. When Bethesda announces a game, it's out that year or soon, I guess. No, never mind. It's like, I don't know, with Fallout, like when the last one was announced, it was out that year.
Or like when this one was announced. By the time people are hearing this podcast, we'll have a Fallout 4 announcement.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure their announcement will be, oh, look for us at E3.
Exactly. Like,
But
this
yeah,
is
I
a
guess we can
thing.
go
Come see
right
us.
into
Yeah.
Fallout. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have a countdown clock. And it's for today. So we'll find out today about
Yeah. Well,
Fallout. Probably just, listen at E3. It's probably not going to be, maybe they'll say where it's going to be. Everyone kind of, it's been rumored Boston, which would be dope. That'd be cool. Yeah, man, when Fallout comes out, that's going to be another Witcher. That's going to be hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of my time just
yeah, you
gone.
can have it.
Oh, you weren't a fan of the last
I
Fallout or Fallout New Vegas?
let's not talk about Fallout Glitch Vegas because that was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't play much of that, but I
I
did play
didn't have
Fallout 3. I loved it.
Fallout 3 was like, okay, this is kind of neat, but it's not really my bag.
Yeah.
Like, I was not crazy about the whole, like, mix of FPS and RPG in the sense of, like, here, you take a shot at somebody, it might hit them. I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
pick one. There's some gameplay elements you can hybridize and they'll work fine. This was not one of them. Like I don't know, it just didn't gel with me.
Oh,
and
man.
I wasn't crazy about like any of the story or anything either. I'm like, hey,
Really?
it's a nuclear wasteland. Okay, cool. I understand that. That's great. But nothing else about it like really grabbed my attention. Like I couldn't find a way to really get interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to benefit a lot off Mad Max, especially if it comes out this year, I think. Because that is, it's kind of like, it feels like it's in the same world a little bit. No, I'm with you.
Except
I'm with
everything's
you.
dark green.
Right. Well, yeah, yeah, you're right.
Everything
it's
had the
not
same
as
color palette.
bright.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I loved it. I liked. Well, yeah, not as much as Skyrim though. Skyrim's world just feels bigger, and there's just so much more, I guess, to do. It felt like. No, I'm with you. I was way more of a fan of Skyrim than I was Fallout. I would be way more excited about another Elder Scrolls game. I'm sure they might actually announce it this E3. They'll probably be like, here's Fallout, blah 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 blah. Here's everything you need to know. Hours talking about it, and then they'll probably at the very end go, oh, by the way, here's Elder Scrolls 6, and here's the title, and that's it.
I don't think we get both even
No?
announced in the same year. No, I think you do one this year and you do one next year.
You're right.
Maybe.
One can wish.
And remember, because they're just, we still have Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, yeah, no,
They're
it's
still-
they have their own conference this year, so that's why I was
Yeah.
thinking they got some other games they're going to talk about, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elder Scrolls Online, I'm excited about that. I know you're not, but I'm trying to get some friends into it because I want to play a game like that on the console that has that MMO feel. And Elder Scrolls is one of those games where it could work. It has that itch that like WoW kind of gives you. If you're not in MMOs, you're not going to like it. So I totally get why you wouldn't be into it. But for those that are into MMOs, that WoW is just something just completely special. No one seemed to capture that lightning in a bottle like Blizzard has, but Elder Scrolls could work since it's free, and I think Skyrim was huge for console players. It was for the PC market, of course, but there's that, and I don't know the word for it, but when I talk to my friends who are mostly console players, it's rare to run into someone who's just PC. They know Skyrim over WoW. They're like, they could talk all day about Skyrim, but when you mention World of Warcraft, they're like, I don't know about that. What's that? I don't know. I wouldn't want to play that. I hear people waste hours in that, and I'm like, you spent 200 hours in Skyrim, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're by yourself. There's no social aspect to
Yeah.
it. So
And to me, that's the selling point.
right.
Because I'm not a multiplayer guy. I'm just not.
Yeah,
And that's why I would gladly take Skyrim over
Totally.
an MMO any day. But that's just me. That's my personal preference.
Totally. I just, but I think Elder Scrolls Online has that. What do you call it? There's just that blend, where you have your MMO, but it's also on console. So like, I can sit there with my buddy who loves Skyrim, loves Destiny, and I could be like, here's a free to play MMO on the console. You like Skyrim? Here's the whole world right there. Here's the whole, entire world, and you get to see those places like Morrowind and stuff that they only spoke about in Skyrim. You can actually go there, and so it's like, oh, that's interesting. And so I'm excited for it. I haven't played it in, I don't know, like, God, a year ago or so. Whenever it came out is when I played it. It's got to be, yeah, it was at least a year ago, because I think it's a year or two old, right? I forget. Anyway,
maybe,
I played
yeah.
it when it came out for the PC, and that's around it. That's about it, because everyone still played WoW that played MMOs. There's nothing that's really killed it yet. But yeah. So where was I? Yeah. Anyway, Fallout. But yeah, I also saw some disappointing news. Well, we all knew this was coming. I mean, the Vita is dead. They the Sony's officially marked it as a legacy platform. So
really?
that just so that you're not going to see it at the conference this year probably. And we all kind of saw that coming. I love my Vita. It's got some really interesting games in it. It's got that different itch than what a 3DS. I mean, 3DS is a fantastic mobile device, especially if you like Nintendo games. But if you want to try anything else besides Nintendo games, there's nothing on the 3DS that I would like. It's all anytime I pick up my 3DS, it's like I want to play Zelda, I want to play Mario, Pokemon. It was all like Nintendo characters. But if you're like, oh, I want to see what Uncharted's like, you can't do it on that platform. You could on Vita. Or if you're like, oh, I want to play like a really strange JRPG, there's some for the 3DS, but the Vita is where it's at. You know what I mean? It's like that's the Final Fantasy platform. I have Final Fantasy X and X2 on it. I have just so much stuff on there. Persona, like it's crazy how much Japanese stuff I have on there that I just didn't get on my my 3DS. But yeah, it's dead. I mean, we saw it coming. I doubt we see another Sony handheld. Handheld's kind of going. It really like
nobody has had a challenge to the actual handheld market ever over Nintendo. Sega tried it and failed.
Oh no. Let me correct you there. Apple has destroyed them.
Well, let's hang on.
Market.
hang on. Because I'm going to make a difference here. You'll see where I'm going with this. No, I get it, and we're going to come around to that point. But in terms of just traditional handheld gaming, Sega tried and failed. Sony has tried and failed. Wasn't there a Neo Geo handheld at some point? That was a disaster.
Right. A dedicated gaming device.
Like
sure,
that,
absolutely.
Yeah, like that handheld. Like when I think of handheld gaming, and to me, there's a difference between mobile gaming and handheld gaming, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
Like handheld gaming has been a Nintendo market from the beginning. Like once they hit with the Game Boy, like there's been no stopping them. They've had bits of competition here and there, but they've never really been challenged. But
here's the thing. You're absolutely right. Dedicated gaming, yes.
Yes.
But the 3DS's numbers are not DS's numbers. And they're nowhere close. And they're not they've always been in the decline because the mobile market has shifted to phones and tablets. Because that world opened up as big as it did, it's kind of sucked in the, you're as the more you grow up, the more you're like, well, I have this tablet, I have this iPhone or Android or whatever, it has these apps and stuff. The more you're going to be like, do I need that? And kids are, when I go to the grocery store, or if I go out to the I don't even know, when I go to Walmart or Target or whatever, I see kids with phones. They take their parents' phone and they're like, give me that, I'm going to play. They're playing whatever. I don't see them with 3D. I do see them with 3DSs, but I see them more with their parents' phones, more likely than not. So it's I don't know. I hear you. I want the 3DS to do good. I want someone to challenge it. The Vita was, I don't know. There's a different feeling holding it. Like it actually feels like an electronic in your hand and not a toy. Where the 3DS always kind of felt like it was, I don't want to say toy because I don't want it to sound like that, but it didn't seem like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but the Vita felt different.
It wasn't a platform. Like
Right.
it was,
You're
yeah.
absolutely right. What I loved about it was, here's the things I liked about it. When I got PlayStation Plus, I got games for my PlayStation 3, which I don't play anymore, my PlayStation 4, and Vita. It was like extra stuff. It was like, oh shit, I have all of these crazy games that I would have never purchased free. With the 3DS, you don't get that. Nintendo is so far behind with what the market wants. You know, it's so like, I mean, I hopefully we find out some new stuff, at E3 and their Nintendo Direct with where they're going with, because we've heard that they're getting into the mobile market.
Yeah. Was it Project NX or whatever?
Yeah, Project NX. But it's so late in the game. Sony's already been on this. Sony's already, when I get free games, monthly on the Vita, I'm excited for it. I'm like, oh shit, I can go and download that, and and try it. And I have this free game this month. Where with Nintendo, I didn't. So it sucks. I liked that there was a Sony platform. If there's anyone crazy enough to do it, they'll do another one, but I don't think they will, if that makes sense.
I doubt it, because the PSP didn't fare tremendously well either.
The PSP, well, see, that's the problem. It did do good. But the only reason it did do good was because people just put mods on it. They just modded the thing.
Yeah.
It was all homebrew. And that's actually where the problem lies with the Vita. Sony saw that the PSP did good, and they didn't realize that it did good because it was homebrewing. And they changed it with the Vita. You can't do homebrewing on the Vita. At least I don't think you can.
Well, I don't think you could on the PSP Go either, could you?
I don't think you could. And, it's smart as a business to cut that off. Because the software is where they really make their money.
Yeah, but
so it's one of those, like, they didn't see that maybe we should have just killed it then, but they saw it when they made Vita. You couldn't do that anymore. It was like, oh shit, no one's buying this. They didn't have that Pokemon, that Zelda, that Mario, that well established. Where honestly, I prefer some of that on my 3DS than I would a Wii. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff where I want to sit in my bed or go and sit on the couch, go wherever in the house, and I could sit there and play the game instead of being stuck on the couch doing it and felt like, you're there and you can't get up and move or do anything. I don't know. That's just me. It kind of sucks. I love my Vita, but it was eventual. Like, we knew this was coming for a year or two now. It was only a matter of time. So, who knows? Maybe Sony's... I don't know what they'll even say about it in their conference. I doubt they even talk about it.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Sony over the last few years has been a lot more receptive and responsive to fans. I mean, it started a couple of years ago with the Xbox One versus PS4 stuff, when they came out and just eviscerated Microsoft.
True.
That was to me, like, as a Sony fanboy, it was glorious, obviously. Yeah. But to watch that,
it was a change. Yeah, it was a change of pace. It was like for years, Sony stumbled at E3. Yeah. It seemed like.
And boy, when they found their shot, they had that. Microsoft had all this bad press coming in about, here are the things that they say the Xbox One won't do or it will make you do. And a buddy of mine talks about, we're kind of headed that way anyway, to like an all digital, no used games, constantly connected platform. We are going in that direction, and we are going to get there. If not at some point during this generation, then probably by the next one, just because it's cheaper not to have to make millions of physical copies. But
mark my words now. It will. The next generation will be digital. And as much as I grinded my teeth when like what Microsoft was doing, I thought about this the other day when I sat there in front of my PlayStation. I wanted to get The Witcher. I didn't want to get off my couch and drive to GameStop and deal with the nonsense. I just downloaded it. Like, I have every game previous except for Destiny and Grand Theft Auto. Every one of my games, Bloodborne, Mortal Kombat, everything I have, all digital. Yeah. And I want a terabyte, which we'll get into that in a second. I want a terabyte hard drive now because the 500 is not enough.
No.
And I love that I can turn on my system and go to any game and hit X and play it, and I don't have to fumble with discs. There's that allure that having it on your, all up on display or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's cool, and that's what always kept me from, like, I want to have my collection nice. Screw that. I don't even do that with movies anymore. Well, I'm not going to do that with video games. I like it all at one place where I can turn it on and just play it, and it starts up where I left off. Like, when we get done here, I'm going to go turn on my PlayStation and be able to jump right in where I paused the game with Witcher, and I don't even have to think about it. Or if I wanted to, I could go jump on, Mortal Kombat. I love that. And so I just like what you were saying, I really think that's next. And I think Sony was smart enough to realize that we weren't ready for it yet.
No, we weren't.
And they needed to be, as me as a fan, I needed to be shown that here you go, you can just digitally download it. And once you start doing it, you're like, oh, this is so much better than actually dealing with people and, trying, hey, do you want to buy our magazine for $20? And do you want this? And do you want this amiibo? And have you seen these used games that you can buy for $3 less? And if you sign up for it, no, fuck that. Just, I'm buying the game. Oh, wait, I can get the same special. There's not one thing that GameStop has that I haven't been able to get on PlayStation. And maybe GameStop gives you like a physical keychain. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, that's what it was. You got a keychain that looks like it would make it so you can't have children if you accidentally put the keychain in your pocket. That as a pre-order special, which I do not want. I mean, I guess that's cool for like kids. I don't know, that want to wear that around their neck.
Let me tell you something. Mortal Kombat X came with a temporary tattoo. All right, so back off, man.
No, see, now, granted, if you're getting the crazy $200, I get a Statue of Scorpion edition.
Yeah, well, then you go to hell.
You can do that off Amazon. You don't have to go into, but you know what I mean. But if you're just like me, where you're like, I want to buy the game, and even with, like, for example, the Batman one. Let's use that one. It's $100 for the whatever, for the full. You get to play as Batgirl and all that other stuff. GameStop can't say, if you come here, this is what you get. I can go on my PlayStation and get the same damn thing, and I don't have to move off my couch to do it. So I kind of like that. I love that, actually.
But let me throw this other bit out there, though, and it's why we're still going to have physical media for a while, at least when it comes to games. And I know I can hear people saying now, well, just put it aside. It doesn't work like that. We know this. Pre-orders, but doing them incrementally. Like, I just went, like, a few days ago and finished off Batman. And, like, I've been going, $5 a week, maybe 10 on a good week, maybe 3, like, if I was just in the neighborhood. Like, and I know people say, well, put that aside and then you can just go ahead and pre-order it all at once. We know money doesn't work like that.
Oh, totally. No,
easy.
you're right. No, well, that's why I just got The Witcher. I mean, let's put cards on the table. I just got a new roommate, and I had bills and stuff I had to pay. That wasn't a priority for me. You know, I was still seeing movies and stuff like that, but I was like, I'm going to wait until I'm a little bit more comfortable to do that, where I don't feel as, tight. So, and busy. I was crazy busy the last few weeks. I went to Chicago and everything else. When I came back and, I looked at my bank account from the trip and everything else and was like, all right, wait, might want to wait a week or so. And I did. And I went and got it because, I mean, this year especially, I've been buying games like crazy. So you're right. It's one of those things where I agree with you that, paying little by little and then getting it, you're right. You're absolutely right. You can't do that with online. You can't go, hey, I'm going to put $20 towards that game and then, $20 later and then $20. It doesn't work like that. It's like, you want to check out, you need all the funds available. So
yeah, no, you give me that option on just a digital service to reserve it like you do it at GameStop, then you will never see my ass up there again.
And honestly, that doesn't seem like there shouldn't be something making that not happen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think you stumbled across something that I never thought about. I'm sure someone at Sony and Microsoft has. That should be an option, and that would a game that would piss GameStop off. At that point, and huge. You can tell GameStop's getting scared. Now you can go in there and you can buy toys, and it's more and more and more of other things.
Well,
and I mean, you have to adapt.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that's why they bought ThinkGeek.
You're right. I saw that. Let's just go into that. So what happened?
Well, here was the thing. Like a week ago or something, Hot Topic was going to buy, was it GeekNet or whatever, which is the parent company that owns ThinkGeek. I'm sure pretty much everybody listening to the show has been to thinkgeek.com. You know, they sell really awesome stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
serious,
see
like
their
some of
stuff
that,
is cool.
I can't go on there. Like I wind up broke instantly. But
That's me and Lego. I
yeah.
can't do it. It's you know, I think I'm off the horse long enough that I'm okay. I
Yeah,
haven't
well,
had
you wait.
the itch.
You
It will
just
happen.
wait.
God damn. When the new Star Wars stuff drops, that's when I will be broke.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, go ahead.
But you know, so Hot Topic was going to buy them and there was I didn't see like a total estimated value for the deal, but it was going to be like $17.50 per share. And then, you know, whatever that worked out to.
Yeah, well, I saw 20.
Well, that was what Hot Topic was saying, $17.50.
Oh,
GameStop
okay.
came along and they said, "Hey guys, we'll give you a 20 plus we'll pay off the penalty to jump from this Hot Topic deal to us."
Oh wow.
And from a business standpoint, of course, you look at that and you say, "Sold."
Right.
Like
oh yeah.
And that's the thing. Like every time I go into GameStop, I'm looking up and I'm like, they have their own limited edition Pokemon Monopoly set.
Oh, they do?
One day I'm gonna buy this thing. Like it's sitting up on a shelf taunting me. And I mean, you know, they have the pop vinyl figures. They've got you know, I mean, like you
Okay.
said, they have shirts. They've got toys, like
Okay.
actually like non-amiibo toys. Like
Hold the phone.
Yeah.
Hold the phone. I
Yeah.
just Googled what you just said.
Uh-huh.
I need that
Uh-huh.
right now.
You see?
When I went to MegaCon and I saw they had a cool Ninja Turtle one, they had a Marvel one, and I thought it's not right yet. It's not the right Monopoly set yet.
No.
I'm looking at what you just said,
Uh-huh.
and I just bought it.
There you
I just went to Amazon. I couldn't even go to Amazon. It's at GameStop.
Yeah, it's
in
an
the cart.
exclusive. Yeah.
I went to go
Okay,
look at
I
Amazon.
want my commission, GameStop. I want my, like, nickel commission, whatever it is.
I'm seeing it on their site. It's added to cart. It will be bought by the end of the show. Yeah, that is amazing. Because I've been, like I told you earlier, like I've been liking board games. Like I like inviting people over and making like a small. Because I'm getting older, going to parties and going out into clubs. It's fun, but I don't like doing that. You know, that's way rare than it used to be. It used to be like every weekend. It was a problem, but now it's like I'd rather actually have some people over, have some beers, and play board games and laugh and have fun. And like to me, that is a great time.
There you go.
And oh, that's fantastic. Because I have a Pokemon. Sorry.
There you go.
I bought sealed.
Yeah.
At a garage sale.
Nice.
Pokemon Sorry, and it's the original Pokemon. So like, and that's what this looks like too. The GameStop
well, this isn't because like I still have the original because they did a Pokemon Monopoly, you know, a decade ago.
Oh no, I mean this original characters. I didn't mean like. Yeah.
No, I mean this one is and I don't know what all's in it, but like I kept seeing the signs on the counter, like when because it hasn't been out all that long, I don't think. And then, like, I went in one day and it's sitting up on the shelf. You know, they've got, like, the controllers and the headsets, and, like, up above all that is this new set. And I'm like, it will be mine.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes, it will be mine.
Wait, I just looked on Amazon, the Pokemon Sorry that I have.
Yeah, I'm sure
$90.
Yeah.
Used. $90. I'm going to sell that. Holy shit.
So
I just made some money.
While you're on Amazon, look up the Pokemon Trainer board game.
Let's see here, Pokemon.
Yeah. It was a weird. I don't even remember how it was played, but
let's see here.
It was kind of like.
Oh my God! It's $200.
There you go. Sold. Done.
Master Trainer.
That's it. I still have that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You should sell $200, man. Go sell that thing.
It's down in storage still.
Yeah. Oh my God. What is? Yeah, it looks funny.
It was different.
It's like poker chips.
Yeah, essentially. It was interesting. God, I haven't cracked that thing open in a decade.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, when it was in my neighborhood, I was like, oh, garage sale, because I've been kind of getting some new things every once in a while. Like I got these two beautiful like oil paintings for $5 each, like huge, next to my bed now, and it looks really fancy. Nice. Like it just got out of France or something. I don't know. It looks nice. So, and I saw that they had Sorry sealed from like years ago. They said they never opened it. They're like, I forgot who got it. It was one of their kids, and they got it for the birthday or Christmas or something, and they never opened it. And they're like, it's just been sitting there, and I got it for I think $1. So I was like, sold, you know. And this was right around the time I started getting board games. I got the Star Wars miniatures game I need to get into. There's a few other ones. And the Battlestar Galactica board game. So, but I had the Pokemon Sorry, you know, just in case. Who knows? Someone brings their kids over, we could play it. But yeah, it's it's interesting. How the hell did we get to thinking?
Me,
that's right.
me. It's all me. That's my
okay.
fault. I had to sell you a special edition of Monopoly.
Right. I forgot. We're still on video games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had the Fallout, we got the Vita, XCOM 2. Did you ever play XCOM?
I did. I didn't like it.
I never played it.
It just wasn't for me. I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
It's like a strategy game, right?
Yeah. It's more. It's a little more RTS than it is shooter.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just never got into it.
Yeah, it was. I saw it on the iPad, but never played it. And I also saw to kind of, I guess, round up the video game news. I saw that was it Tanya?
Oh yeah, for Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to play it now. I haven't. I'll probably try that when I get done. I'm really waiting for Predator. Predator's the one that I'm psyched about. And I saw they have like another costume set, like classic costume, and I guess you get that if you got the whatever the season pass or whatever.
The season pass, yeah.
Yeah,
those have never been worth it to me.
Right.
I don't know.
I kind of want to get I'm kind of kicking myself because I should have got the Witcher one because of how like involved and in love with the Witcher I am. That should I get into the Witcher now or later?
Let's hold on that for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But I kind of because there's free DLC for The Witcher. Like this week, I think you get and when I say free DLC, the stuff that they used to charge for with like what was it, Oblivion, like horse armor and stuff, that's the free DLC for Witcher. So like there's a new quest line that came out this week. There's new armor and like a crossbow dropped or something. I don't know, but I kind of like that idea. But the season pass is like big expansion stuff, the way they put it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be, I think.
Exactly.
But I understand microtransactions are here to stay, so whatever.
Yeah. Totally. Let's see here, and so yeah, I guess that would wrap up video games. Let's see here. We got comics, man. Let's talk about comics. Did you read anything else besides Marvel this week?
Nah, I read Convergence.
Convergence, okay. What did you think about Convergence?
Well, I kind of already talked about it, really.
That's right. Yeah, it's so confusing.
To me, it wasn't like, hey, this is confusing. It was like, hey, this is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess maybe going forward, we'll see this be relevant. I would like to think so, because, I mean, otherwise they just blew a whole lot of time.
Right. Like, you can very well tell that this was them trying to figure out what they can put out when they move from New York to California, which is what it was. And it was also a way for them to go, we've heard you about the classic DC characters. Here they are. And by the way, after Convergence, we're going to have a series about them. So they still exist. They're still there. I don't know.
But they're different.
But they're they're different.
Yes.
But aren't they going to have like Superman in his red shorts in a new comic book, right? Like they're going to tell that story.
I guess. I mean,
it's going to be like Earth 2, right? But it's going to be called, I don't know, what do they call it? The old DC universe, the comic.
Well, I mean, because they're dropping the new 52 branding. So right. I don't know. I guess it's just going to be Tales from the Multiverse or something. I don't know. Look. Here's my thing, because what Convergence did at the end of it all, what it did was they went back, and here's a sentence that any English major is going to love to diagram. What they did was they went back and they rewrote the events that rewrote continuity. Crisis, Zero Hour, all of them. They were all slightly rewritten. So
Right.
they all existed and they all happened, except not in exactly the same way.
Right. And
And
to Marvel readers, that's like if in 10 years from now they go back and they rewrite the events of this Secret Wars
exactly.
to change whatever
yeah,
happens.
and Deadpool's Secret Wars.
Well, Deadpool isn't a thing by himself. Marvel's never done this. That's the thing. That's why
Fair enough.
I
Fair
think
enough.
Marvel gets me. Deadpool's always what do you call it? When you go back and you change a story and you add something to it,
Retconning?
retconned.
Yeah.
Deadpool's always retconned, and he kind of sits outside because he's such a popular character. They're like, hey, how can we just jokingly put him in there, and you can take it as seriously as you want it, or don't give a shit, But Marvel as a whole, they haven't ever. This will be the first time they do anything like this. This is their crisis.
But I mean, here's the thing. Like, Heroes Reborn kind of did something like this.
We don't talk about that because that stopped. they forgot it ever happened. Where DC never forgot that crisis happened.
This is true. Like, it's always been like every universe-changing event has always been an ongoing thing with DC. This is true.
And see, that's where a lot of people are like, with Marvel, you have to know all the history. You don't. But with DC, all of their events, most of them, I guess I should say, sort of has to do with Crisis. And if you didn't read or understand Crisis, which I didn't, I'm totally lost because it's like, you had me, this is really slow and I don't get it. But now I really don't get it because what the hell just happened with all these different Earths and we're gonna send you back, Supergirl. She's super important to the original Crisis. I didn't read it, but she's super important. I don't know why.
She died, I think.
And Superboy punches something. If you're not
that was a different Crisis.
I know. But if you don't read that stuff, just like if you don't need to read Secret Wars now. You didn't have to read the first two to understand this. You know what I mean? Even the Deadpool one, you can get it on a certain level. There's 2 levels to that. You can
this
get
is
it
true. Yeah.
Right. That's what I liked about Marvel is you don't have to know anything going into any of these. Even honestly, even Old Man Logan, in that first page, when you sit there and you read what's about at the beginning, this is about a world, and they give you in a sentence, a paragraph, what's happened in Old Man Logan, and you can go and you understand the world that Old Man Logan's in. With the Convergence, I don't know what the hell was going on. It was cool. I mean, if you're going to read anything out of Convergence, yes, read the Convergence story. Everything else, if you're going to read one side thing, make it the Flash. That one I understood. I didn't need to know anything. It explains Barry Allen. It explains the situation he's in. It explains why he's there, why he doesn't have his powers. And it goes. All the other ones I was totally confused. That was the one I would say pick up if you want any extra thing from Convergence. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, I guess it's going to be the same New 52 universe, right?
Yeah.
They're just basically nodding to the audience saying all these other things still exist in there. I even think they word it, they're important too.
Yeah, it's something like just ridiculously simple like that. They're all important or something. I don't remember. I don't care.
Right, because I think they were hearing the fans going, "You don't care about you." I think it was them going, "Hey guys, it's still there. Let's just move forward," and that still happened.
And here's the thing. You know what they found out by the end of Convergence? That really loud bunch of people who were like, we want the old universe, old continuity and whatnot back, was a very small percentage who when they turned up at the comic book shop, they didn't clear off the shelves.
Yeah, that's what I keep seeing when anytime I see videos or talk to anyone or hear from anyone that like owns a comic shop or works there, Convergence bombed where people are actually picking up Secret Wars stuff.
There you go.
And it's you hear different things. It's sad that DC really needs to pick it up. And I don't know, if you're gonna be in the New 52, stay there. Don't go back. Don't. Who cares about the red pants?
And here's what's great about this. And now that we've had 2 and a bit whatever months off, we get to jump back into the stories that we left way behind back here that were convoluted enough on their own to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, the only one I've been following is Batman, and that's
Yeah.
just because Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Moving forward, I don't even know where I would start. I hear the Superman story is going to be cool, so I want to jump into that. It's apparently about him losing his powers slowly, and like to the point where he's in the North Pole and he can't figure out how the fuck to get out. And that's interesting. Finally, Superman is going to be interesting because they're going to make him vulnerable, and that's important. That's cool. I'm in. But I kind of feel weird about Batman. What they were doing with Batman, I don't know if I'm going to want to read that. It's
I
different, but it's a little weird. I don't know.
Well, look, like this particular status quo never lasts. We know this. We've
Oh,
seen this
totally.
before.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I'm interested in We Are Robin. Like that
Yeah.
would be interesting. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, I get to actually go to the comic book store here this week. I couldn't go last week because I had to get my car fixed.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, it was like, okay, here, take that kidney, like,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
so I was like, I missed most of last week.
Oh, okay. So did you? Okay, so you haven't read? any of
I
them?
grabbed a couple.
Did you get them digitally?
Yeah, I had to do a bunch of them digitally. What did I-
Yeah, no doubt. I like doing that too. So I mean, let's see. Well, let's get into it. What? Okay. Um, there was a lot this week actually. I'm trying to look over them here. Was Secret Wars 2 2099 out
Yes,
this week?
it was 2020, and it was great. I love 2099 because
Yeah,
I love that universe.
You totally pointed out something that I didn't catch.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a few other podcasts where like people in the know, they didn't even catch either. And I was like, haha, let me correct you. Ultimates or what'd you call them? 299?
2099, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, 2099 Spider-Man wasn't it? That was a cool moment. He was like, "Oh shit, I didn't even realize that," and I'm like, "I didn't either." But it was interesting. Here's the thing, and this is kind of the best way you go about it. You know about that world, I don't, and I still enjoyed it.
There you go. That's it. That's enough.
I didn't need to know anything. It introduced the characters perfectly. We all know who Captain America is and Iron Man and all these people that it wasn't the same characters, of course, because it's a lot farther in the future. But it's the same archetypes type thing.
Exactly.
I thought it was cool how they did that. And Hercules is in it, and it had just enough for me to go, okay, I get this. I figured out what's going on. And like Iron Man, it was some surprises. I was like, wait, who is this guy? And who's the guy in the pool? Like it was like, oh, wait a second, okay. So I was totally in. I want to see what happens next.
Yeah, there you go. That's what a story should do.
Oh yeah. And I guess we should say we're gonna get into spoilers here because we're gonna talk about it. We're going to spoil the comics. We're going to get into Game of Thrones, and we can't talk about that without spoiling it. And let's just say before we get into it, I shouldn't cuss, but go watch Game of Thrones right now.
In this case, it's okay, because this was just a ridiculously awesome episode.
Exactly. So that's our spoiler-free review. But yeah, I liked how at the end, it was the Vision, and he was like, we call themselves the Defenders. And I thought that was cool.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's that's a world I'm totally interested now. I want to see that. What are some other ones? We had Secret War Journal, which was a bit odd. Did you see that one?
Yes.
It's one of those like anthology ones where it's like split up into two.
Yeah.
It's like we have these interesting ideas. We don't have enough story to tell, so we're going to split it up into a book. So it's Kate Bishop is the first one, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it was like Robin Hood times.
Yeah,
it seems like.
Yeah, she was Lady Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, and the second one I thought was totally dope. It was Egypta or. Egypta?
Yeah,
it was like
Egyptia. I forget exactly what they call it, but yeah, like that was neat.
Oh, Moon Knight, and that was super cool looking. I like totally dug his costume.
Yeah.
And I like how towards the end, like, it's the werewolves, and then they come back and they just convert everybody. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. No, that was interesting. That was an interesting story.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we had Old Man Logan this week. Of course.
That was I was gonna save that one, but that one is my favorite. What I did is I went back and reread all of the Old Man Logan.
There you go. Good story.
What a treat.
Good story. So good.
if you want a cool Wolverine, now that's something Clint Eastwood should star and direct in. If you want a good Wolverine story, that has to be up there, top 5 for me.
Oh, easily. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, and see, here's the thing. This is one of those. Okay, we had World War. No, what is it? The Hulk one.
Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk, which had nothing to do with Planet Hulk. It was its own story. It was completely different from what Planet Hulk was. This, on the other hand, it's really weird and interesting how Marvel's doing this, because this, on the other hand, takes place like it picks up exactly where Old Man Logan left off.
Yeah, pretty much.
And at the same time, it ties into Secret Wars because it's its own part of Secret Wars.
Yeah, that's the thing that like they're establishing with all of the other Secret Wars titles. It's like, hey, look, here may be these established stories if we have them. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but whatever. But now everybody acknowledges Battleworld.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like this one weird bit of brainwashing that's been done to everybody, or whatever the hell's been going on here.
Totally. And in the first page, it says, kind of in front of all the Secret Wars stuff, some of them just say the multiverse was destroyed, blah, 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 here's Doom, and here's the place known as Secret Wars.
Yeah.
With this one, it does just a few paragraphs. It tells you, for 50 years, no one knew what happened on the night the heroes fell, yada, yada, yada. Logan swore to never use his claws again, and you find out why. Go read the story, because I kind of don't want to spoil that for you. You find out why he never wanted to use his claws again and swore against it. Spoiler alert for this, he does use his claws again, and he's basically now, in this story, out to take down this corrupt world that he tried to walk away from and can't now. And so you pick up right from there, where he's on his way to take the big guys out, take the people who are out that are in charge of everything. And it's super cool, like the world that he's in. And this is, when the whole Marvel universe reboots or whatever, this would be the Wolverine. Now, I guess I'd like a younger Wolverine, but this Wolverine with this, how smart he is, how more humble and reserved he is, and it's just so much. It's so interesting, much more interesting than the jump in with your claws first kind of Wolverine, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is the Wolverine that's like, guys, I've been here, I've seen everything, I've done everything, you're not going to surprise me, and I can outsmart you. Like, that's a dangerous Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, to me, this was hands down my favorite of the week. Just the art, everything in it, like where they pick up the Ultron head, and he's like, oh, the last person I've seen with this, I'm going to go and try and find him. And if you read the comics, you know where he was going. And even if you didn't, you didn't have to.
No, that's what was great. Like, you don't need, there's no entry barrier to these. Like, you didn't need to know anything about 2099 when you picked it up. You don't need to know where Old Man Logan comes from when you pick this one up. You should, because it really is an awesome story. But you don't need to, and that's what's cool about this.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and one of the cool things was in the Old Man Logan in the original run, Emma Frost.
Yes.
Like you never saw her. You only saw what she projected to people, because she was like, you really don't want to see the real me because it's gross and disgusting and it's not, it's old.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you what I want you to see. And in this, you finally do get to see what she looks like. And I thought that was cool. And it's where he's going. I hope it's going to lead into him going into another area, another place in Battleworld. That would be cool to see Old Man Logan. I don't even know. Put him in 2099 something. Imagine the next Old Man Logan, and he's in 2099.
I'm telling you, man. Like, I don't. Well, because I mean, the way we saw it, like, I guess the next place we're going to see him is in the Shield.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So dude, I'm excited. That to me was, and I'm glad I went back and reread those just so it was fresh.
Yeah.
What are some other ones? There was Inferno, which was kind of interesting.
Inferno was curious because it wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but
yeah, I'm gonna go back on the same day every year, and they're not going to be surprised at all that I'm trying to do. Like one thing that caught me completely off guard was Cyclops when he shows up as Professor X. At the beginning he's Cyclops, he gets injured, and then it's like they jump 1 year ahead, and he didn't just take on the role, he like stole his wardrobe.
Yeah, wheelchair, yellow hover wheelchair and all.
Tie clip, everything. He is Professor X, and the hover chair straight from the 90s. It was interesting. It was. I mean, I'm gonna get the next one because like I said from the beginning of this, I am a sucker for this. I want to get all the Secret Wars. I want to read them all. And it was just, I don't know, it was interesting. I wasn't excited as I was about the rest, but it kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but I like Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler's cool in it.
You look like my father. Prepare to die.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That was funny.
I was like, that's really funny to people who know that story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Princess Bride.
And I mean Nightcrawler's story. Like it wasn't like, oh hey, that's funny, he's quoting the Princess Bride. Like it's funny on that level. But if oh yeah, Nightcrawler's like kind of part demon and stuff, guys. Like it makes it even funnier.
Oh yeah. It was definitely smart. And I kind of liked how it left off with Alex Summers and Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. Let's see here, some other strange ones. Where Monsters Dwell. Did you read that?
I gave that one a pass.
You gave it a pass?
Because that's the thing. This is the kind of story that goes way back. Like this would be like a timely comics publication. That's how far back this goes. And hey, look, I'm all for it. Recognize your history, celebrate your history. Go for it. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, it's definitely old school, and I don't know who. It's Garth Ennis. That
was the only reason that I was like, I might want to pick this up. I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. So it's I mean, this is one of those where it has nothing to do with Secret Wars. At least it doesn't feel like it. It was, I don't know, it was like this Nathan Drake character. If you decide to get it later, I won't completely spoil it for you, but it just felt much like Nathan Drake. The opening scene, I guess, part of this was pretty funny. I won't go into it since you didn't read it, but it was just, dinosaurs, and he's kind of caught off guard. He's like, what the hell are these things? Basically lands on an island full of dinosaurs, and it ends on the cheesiest. Like they crash their plane, and he finds out that this girl he was giving a ride for, he thought was, kind of dumb, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll take you here and charge you a lot of money, and it'll be piece of cake, and she seems like, this is great, much fun, I'm gonna put my bags in, and then when they start to go down, like she changes the way her tone is, and she starts shooting at things, and like you could tell she's very intelligent, and he's like, whoa, what happened to the girl a few seconds ago? And they crash, they land, and the cheesiest part is, he's leaning against something, and he's like, for God's sake, what could be the matter now? And it's like a dinosaur leg. Like, it's just cheesy as hell. Yeah, so no idea how that will ever tie into Secret Wars. But
I think it's kind of their way of tipping the hat to saying this is where we came from.
Totally.
Because that was, I mean, 70 years ago, that was what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
But so I mean, I like that they took this opportunity to say, hey, let's do one like this again. Why not?
Yeah, it was fun. I'll give it that. I mean, it's definitely nothing to do with Secret Wars or superheroes, but sometimes that's cool too. Like it doesn't have to be, and it was okay, I guess is all I would say. What's some other ones? Some ones that really tied into like the Secret Wars main story. Did you read Inhumans?
I did read Inhumans. That was
cool.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I liked how like Doom. To me, you can tell this is editorial where they're like, "Hey, push the Inhumans, Inhumans. Even Doom is like, "Hey, I'm all for you guys. Screw the X-Men." That's what I got out of it. It was like, you guys are super important over here, but screw those mutants. Like it's like, whoa, wow, okay. I like how it ended off.
Yeah.
Left off.
Yeah. That was I look, because here's the thing, like I was never one for Inhumans. I was never big on them, and so I was kind of excited when they were like, "Hey, new Inhuman series that's never going to get off the ground."
Right.
It took it forever. I mean, hell, the issue of what was it? I think it was the issue of Amazing Spider-Man where they brought Peter Parker back. Like
Right.
they doubled it with the first issue of Inhumans.
Yeah.
And then like that series just like it took forever to materialize. So by that point,
Oh.
I was like, I don't care.
Inhuman, you can tell Marvel wants them to be the new X-Men, and they're not that exciting. They're not that interesting. They're not that established as X-Men are. Or, I mean, they've been around for a while, but they're not interesting. They're
No,
not
but
Wolverine. They're not Beast. They're not Nightcrawler. They're not Gambit. You know what I mean? They're not Storm. They're not Jean Grey. They're not Cyclops. They're not Cable. They're not all these. Like, they hit the nail with so many X-Men characters. Inhumans, I couldn't even tell you 3 off the top of my head.
But I mean, there's the thing though. And I forget who it was that said this. And I'm pretty sure I heard it at a comic shop. Inhumans could be Marvel's Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I completely see that.
Yeah. But you can tell that they're kind of trying to do that, but they're not. It could totally be, but like I said, they're not. I don't know. Black Bolt, Medusa, and that's the chick from Sky. That's it. That's all I know from Inhumans. And I've actually read some Inhuman stories. Oh, okay. I guess I should say Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. But
Captain
Miss
Marvel. No, Captain Marvel's not. Miss
Right,
Marvel.
Miss
is.
Marvel. That's right. Yeah. She's interesting, but she has. I don't even think of Inhumans when I think of her. If that makes sense.
No, same thing.
I guess she's the most interesting Inhumans that I know of, even though she really has nothing to do with that. The one that has a lot to do with it, Black Bolt. He doesn't even say anything.
Well, he can't.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's the most interesting one there is. I don't know. I thought the story was cool. I loved. What did he go by? G-Man in this Ghost Rider?
Yes, I loved it. Well, because he was like he was like a 50s Ghost Rider.
I want that Ghost Rider in the new universe.
Yes, give me that one because he was wicked.
My hopes is that they're testing the water with these Secret Wars things, and they're like, and they're gauging what do people like.
Well, and I mean, look at how that's how we got Spider-Gwen.
That's true. That's very true. I hope this Ghost Rider is picked up and put in the new universe, and who knows how they're going to do the new universe? We still don't even know that. We find that out next month on the 1st. But if it's anything like Spider-Gwen, they're going to gain a pulse, and they're going to go, you know what? People really we got positive feedback for that Ghost Rider because he seemed way more interesting and he had more character than a motorcycle badass. He had a tie and he almost looked like Constantine towards the end.
There was a little of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. But hell, give me that. That's interesting. That's cool. I just thought it was really interesting. I did not expect Doom. I did not expect that whole tie-in and explanation of, what he's doing behind the scenes. And it's going to be fun moving forward seeing what happens to I'm glad that Doom is interesting again in this. I don't know, this story was cool. I definitely liked it with the Ghost Rider stuff. And this whole team jumping from, battle world to battle world, different places. It's cool knowing that there's an underground like rebellion that's like, hey, this whole religion and everything that people believe right now can't be real, can't be true. So that's cool. That's cool. Let's see oh god, there's so many Secret Wars books. We can kind of go through them. Did you read MODOK?
I did, but I don't really remember it.
I liked it. MODOK. Did you see how it ended at least with Angela?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah,
and that's going to be interesting.
Hammer.
Yeah.
I liked this MODOK 10 times more or 100 times more than I liked him in that Battle World series.
Yeah.
And he's super annoying with what he does, but this is another one, just like in Humans, it explains what's going on in the. We've talked about this. A lot of these Secret War books don't really tie into the main series heavily. They're just aware that they're in this world. Some of them do. This is one that actually does. You know, they talk about this mutant that's jumping from world to world, and it turns out to be Gambit. And they jump into MODOK's world, and he's done.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. And you know, you know, and then at the end with Angela falling, we're kind of getting. I don't know if maybe I'm just, you know, conspiracy theory here, but a lot of these issues, people are falling out of the sky.
Exactly. No, I'm right there with you.
Okay, yeah. So it's I'm just glad I'm not just noticing that and just making connections that aren't there. But I mean, even with Old Man Logan, you have the Ultron helmet falling out of the sky. You know, in what was it,
A-Force? Yeah.
A-Force, you not only had the shark falling out of the sky, you know, you had Captain Universe falling out of the sky, and in this you have Angela falling out of the sky. So what's going on? Where are these characters coming from? Are they a part of, you know, are we going to see why these characters fell out of the sky and where they came from? Who knows? I don't know. We got Secret Wars this week, actually, right? Today?
Secret Wars 3, yeah, today.
Dude, this is going to be, I think, so far it's been really good. It's been one of my favorite events to happen. I can't tell you the last time I was this excited about an event.
I can, because you know me, Spider-Verse. Like that
Spider-Verse,
was
okay, yeah.
But before that, I mean, I wasn't even like really excited for Infinity.
No.
I mean, I kind of read that just out of necessity. It was like, okay, this is important, I gotta read this.
Right. I think Civil War was the last big one where I was like, oh, I gotta get every issue. DC had one that I wasn't excited about, but after I read it, I was like, damn, that was good. It was what's the one with the Earth 3 characters?
Forever Evil.
Forever Evil. Have you ever read that?
I did. I wasn't crazy about it.
I liked it. I thought that read really great as a whole. I was like, oh, I didn't need to know that much, and that's my problem with DC is I always have to know so much stuff going in that I don't know. But that one I was like, okay, so evil versions of good people are on this planet and they're just screwing everything up, and all the main heroes are gone. So Killer Frost and stuff jumped in and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I don't know. Anyway, back to Secret Wars. I thought it was totally cool. You know, MODOK just showing up, just killing Bullseye, killing Gambit. It was interesting. Let's see what else we got. Journal.
I think that's it.
There was one more. There was two more.
Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was different.
That was totally different, and I loved it. I thought, you know, I actually started really liking these characters, this little family that I know nothing about. I have no idea if they're actually in the Marvel Universe in any way, shape, or form. I just read it as this family that their mom was a Nova. She left and was destroyed, and the bugs came and took over the planet, and they're trying to survive. It almost had a Walking Dead feel. Did you get that at all?
Kinda, yeah. It to me, it had more of an Age of Ultron feel to me.
Oh, really?
From the comic, just how, because it was the same sort of like, hey, a thing landed and it conquered the entire planet. Here's the story of a handful of people running like hell from it.
True, but see, this is where I made more of the Walking Dead connection. They didn't have any powers.
True.
So that's where I was like, these people are really helpless, and I'm totally in with these. I want to know more about these. I want to see what happens with these characters, especially now that, you know, she's back. Spoiler alert. And the bugs, you know, they have what is it? The Mind Gym, or it's one of the gyms, the blue one, whichever one that one is.
Yeah, not the Mind Gym. I can't remember. This was Geek Trivia that one night, and I can't remember.
Let's see here. Was it Blue?
Was it the
Gem Marvel?
Blue Infinity Gem would be the Space Gem, maybe.
Infinity Gems. Let's see here. The blue one is Mind.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah, but I think they actually changed it up for the movie. So
yeah, I was gonna say because it's yellow in the cinematic universe, and that's what I was going by. But
yeah. So anyway, it was some gym. They didn't really go into it, and then, you know, at the end, the mom's there, and it's like, "Hey, I'm home," and it's like, "Oh shit, sorry, I'm late." So I thought it was cool.
And then cut to Thanos over at an abandoned building.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And now I'm wondering which Thanos is it?
Exactly. Oh, well, it's not the one. Well, yeah, you're right. I
Uh-huh.
didn't even think about that. Which Thanos is it? Because I don't know. It's so interesting. And the last one, I don't know if you read this one. I was mad that it was just an Infinity Con, or was it a
Infinite. Oh yeah, Marvel. They're digital. Yeah, I did not read this.
yes. It was so cool. It was straight out of the 90s. It's the X-Men 92.
Hey, you
And
mean to tell me that their big nostalgia X-Men comic was only available on their digital platform, and they kind of never told anybody about that?
yeah, well, no, they
Huh.
did. At first, well, here's what they're doing. It is going to be released in comic form.
Right, they're
What's
doing.
the second one?
Yeah, they're gonna do the thing of like collecting a couple issues.
Right, but
Yeah.
this is back to what we're talking about. Like,
Uh
I
huh.
don't like the direction they're going in with what they're doing with X-Men. Like, it's really starting to piss me off. Like seeing what they're doing, all these cool characters that if they really just push them off to one side of the world and universe or whatever, it's gonna make me really mad. It's gonna make me
We've
not.
had X-Men for 40 years. Let the Inhumans take the stage.
God, no, no one wants that.
I
No
do.
one
You know what?
wants that.
I'll do it. I'll be the anti X-Men crusader on this show. Fine.
No, no,
I'll take
no.
that. I'll take that burden.
Yeah, it's but anyway, it ties totally into Secret Wars. Imagine a place where it
Imagine
is
a world.
1992. No, I mean no joke. I won't ruin too much because I know you're going to want to read this. It opens up with the X-Men in a mall, of course,
Right.
in a laser arcade thing, playing laser tag.
Okay.
And the way they do the the way they do the comic is when you slide, it shows Cyclops. And you slide, and then it shows Storm, and you slide, and it shows just like it would in a video game if you were gonna pick one of the characters.
Okay.
And they're all saying one thing or another, like "You can't catch me, not with my storm powers of lightning." I don't know. It's just so cheesy, and the mayor of this town, which the main place of the town is the mall. It's where everyone goes to. Is Senator Kelly, but he's like Mayor Kelly,
Okay.
and
Oh
he
boy.
has this cape with a Doctor Doom symbol, and he's the leader of this little small world, and it's just so,
Oh
it's
boy.
you have to read it. It
Yeah,
is
all right.
so 90s. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see, and it's one of those like there's so many words just like it was in the 90s. You know what I mean? And you know, I'll leave it at that because I know you're gonna read it. Anyone listening, you know, if you went to the comic shop and it took me a while to even figure out how the hell to get it. It's one of those things. Like I did go to Marvel and I did purchase it, but I was on the verge. I'll be honest, I was on the verge of just going and finding some other place to get it. That's how bad that is. When I want to find it and I want to read it, I want the physical thing of it and I can't find it. That's a problem. I can't go to, you know, I had to Google search how to get that kind of comic to figure it out, and that's not okay. You know what I mean?
Here, here.
Like if I should at least be able to go to marvel.com and it's right there in the middle of the page. Somewhere that says, "Here are the comics this week and here's a button to buy them." But yeah, so that was Secret Wars. Lots of good stuff. Do you have by any chance in front of you what's coming out this week?
I do not. I know we have.
Okay.
Oh, the big one is Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man gets his wife and kid back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And
People have been wanting that forever.
I guess I'm the weird one. I have not.
Really?
I do not want this story. I don't
People-
I'll read it and I'm sure it'll be awesome and I'll love it. But
Dude,
I
it's
do.
Dan Slott.
Yeah, and that's why I know I'm gonna love it. But
Yeah.
I don't want that to be the status quo moving forward. I don't want married Papa Peter. I don't want it.
Why not?
Because I love my nostalgia. Damn it!
Is it
Peter-
going to be the status quo moving forward? We don't
I
know
hope
that, right?
not. It better not be. I want my Peter Parker to be, not
You
saddled
do know
with...
you're on the minority.
I know.
With this, right?
Oh, I
Okay.
know. Like, trust me, I'm well aware.
Okay.
I cheered when he made the deal with Mephisto. Like, I was,
I guess I
man.
just didn't care that much about Spider-Man to get upset or not about it. I honestly wasn't reading Spider-Man back then.
It was a thing
anyway.
of like, okay, I understand why they did this. It's progressing. He's growing up. He's getting more responsible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand that. But the problem is it painted him into a corner. It's why Superman and Lois did not stay married. Because they realize, oh, this makes for a comic that kind of sucks.
But now they have Miles, and that's my counter argument is that
But Miles
they can
is
have
not...
a Peter Parker with an older, married. He can still be Spider-Man, but
No,
now
he
they have
can't.
Miles.
No, he
now
can't.
they have the kid still, and they can tell those stories.
I don't think you can have married
But at what
Spider-Man.
point are we going to move the story forward to where these characters get older?
Yeah, well,
and I know that's maybe a topic for another episode, but at what point do we go, okay,
Never.
It's time for Captain America to give his shield to someone else. It's time for
Well, he
Peter
did that.
Parker to give the mantle to someone else.
Never. They did that in the Ultimate Universe. They had that moment. Move on.
No, I
This is my Spider-Man.
feel you.
Do not mess with my 616 Peter Parker.
No,
man.
I know. I always
No,
wonder
you make
about that.
you make some valid points, and I agree, and they're worth
it's
looking into. Absolutely.
Now you have Sam as Captain America, and it's like we see in the all new, all different Avengers, he's still Captain America.
Yeah.
So they don't go back to Steve Rogers, and there's like a little moment in there where they're like they're really mad at Steve Rogers for something, and we have no idea what. But it's like. I totally get it. The status quo. You want Peter Parker. You want, to me, I guess just as the devil's advocate, I'm totally down. I want to see because I guess I didn't read what him was like as a parent or with a kid or whatever.
He was because here's the thing. That was kind of a what if story when he had Mayday. It was what was it, like MC2 or whatever the imprint was.
Yes.
But he and Mary Jane were married for I don't even know how long, and it just got tedious.
Oh, it did.
It was because there was no look when he's just Peter Parker and he's trying to have a love life and it falls apart because he's Spider-Man. You could have he had the thing with Carly Cooper and it kind of tanked. And now, it's him and Silk because there's an interesting kind of odd metaphysical dynamic with the whole, sort of web of destiny and whatnot. But you couldn't do that when it was like, nope, he's married to Mary Jane. He's found the love of his life and they're married and all
can't
of
they
that.
do that with Miles now?
And all of that.
Can't he be the teen that has a bunch of girlfriends?
And I tell you what, look, I want my Inhumans, you want your old Peter Parker.
Okay, I got it.
Well,
I got it.
Hey, look, I want Miles to be a big character. I love Miles. I was not on board at first, but Spider-Man, that 5-issue crossover that they did, that was big for him. And I loved it. And I want him to have the spotlight. I just don't want it to be at Peter Parker's expense.
No, totally. No, I totally get it. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like that with Wolverine with me. They've tried to replace him a million times. X-23, it's not the same.
No.
It's not. You can't Draken or whatever. It's
Daken,
not the same.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Sabretooth, it's not the same. Wolverine, as much as he's overplayed and overused, Spider-Man is too. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But he's not. It's not Logan. It's not Wolverine.
Exactly.
Old Man Logan feels like Wolverine. You know what I mean? That is the Wolverine that I know, that I like. And so when they come out in the new universe, I don't want it to be X-23 is the new Wolverine. So I totally feel you there. I want it to be Logan. If it's Old Man Logan, I'm in. If it's regular, Wolverine, I'm in too. But I want it to be Wolverine Logan. I want him to come back, not a clone, not I don't know, kid or whatever. Even Ultimate X-Men Wolverine I would take.
Yeah, but he died and they replaced him. They replaced
his son.
They replaced James Howlett with his son Jimmy Howlett. And I wanted to put my head through a wall.
That's
because
true.
he was
Miles is
different.
special. I think he worked.
He's his own character. He's not a carbon copy. And so many
That's true.
Wolverine
You're right.
replacements have been at their core, this carbon copy.
You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Miles is nothing like Peter Parker. He's his own interesting character. He was granted the same abilities, but he's very much his own person. So you're absolutely right.
And that's and I've always kind of liked that. Like, he somehow magically managed to get bitten by the exact same spider, more or less. But like, it was, like the next one they experimented on or whatever. But like, and I was like, that's ridiculous. But then when it moved on, I was like, okay, that's right. It's not about how they got the powers. It's about what they do with them and who they are. And that's like, I think that kind of underscored that whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was looking at Armor Wars #1. That's like what Iron Man type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is, because we've only seen Iron Man like once, I think, in this whole thing, and two of him, and they were just fighting each other. He's got to be a big player, in Secret Wars, I think. The new Star Wars or Darth Vader's coming out, which is really cool. Have you been reading the Darth Vader?
I have.
It's good. It's good. The pool list basically for me is all the Secret Wars stuff and Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I want to branch out. Like, the thing is with Image, I read that in trade. Because I just feel those books are read much better in trade. There's Future Imperfect. There's Giant Size Little Marvel.
Wait a minute. Future Imperfect, isn't that Mastermind? Or, not Mastermind, Maestro?
I have no idea.
I think it is. Like
it says, the Mysteria or no?
Maestro.
Maestro rules. Yes. Why did I say Mysteria? The Maestro rules. There are those who wanted him dethroned. Who's Maestro?
Old Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember like he in that one story where like he got older and became evil?
Right.
That's Maestro.
Was it the one where they went to the future and saw the timeline?
No, that was...
Oh my god, that's something I really need to go back and look at, that whole timeline thing.
I saw that. Well, that whole timeline was everything that happened after Age of Ultron.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, I remember that issue where it was like, where it had like two different X-Men things written up there, and it was like Spider-Man ? And all that stuff. Yeah, it was kind of like the roadmap for Marvel now.
Right,
everything
pretty much like, oh, by the way, we just put all this up on the board for only our employees, and now you can see it.
Exactly. Yeah. But
oh man, I want to go revisit that to see like what they, what they put in it. Oh man, I need to find that. It was in Avengers, right?
It was in Avengers. I don't remember when. But it was one of the ones, just like Google issues with Ultron in it. Yeah. It was like volume 4, I don't remember. It was from like 2007, I think? Was it that far back? I don't remember. But
it was on a chalkboard?
Yeah. Yeah, because, what was it, like Hulk and Beast had been looking at timelines or something. I forget exactly how it came about, but like they had like this whole thing written a bunch of this huge chalkboard. I remember that.
Yeah. And then Ultron War, Dystopian, What Are the Rings? Okay,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's, oh my god, there's got to be like a high definition version of that somewhere.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was kind of like the ultimate Easter egg, in a sense. Because you look back on it and you're like, wait a minute, they outlined all of this here. Like how?
Oh yeah.
Like that
Infinite
was
Futures. That's what. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
So yeah, that's interesting. I really want to go and dissect that later. I'll do that later so we don't take up too much time here. But yeah, dude, Giant Size Little Marvel AVX.
Sure, why not? That was always a fun little gag kind of comic they ran a few issues with. Sure, why not? That's fun.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to the one that they did not long, because like they did the baby variant covers, and then they were like, hey, what if we did like a baby AVX? And it was cute. It was adorable.
Oh yeah. And I kind of mentioned this a few times. What I really hope happens is some of these titles jump into the other world. Like Giant Size Little Marvel or whatever jumps into, I don't know, Old Man Logan. I don't know, just something weird. Only one or two of them, but wouldn't that be fun? Just like I said with the 2099, have Old Man Logan kind of go into that world. Like, it would just be little interesting crossovers. What do you think? No.
I think if we see baby Hawkeye run into old man Logan, that I'm telling you, that may win an Eisner Award all by itself.
It would just be fun. I mean, I don't know. They have the possibility to do that. We see these characters running through each other's books. I mean, you hear from, I forgot what book it was. It was Battleworld or one of those where they talk about a mutant running through the Battle Worlds, and it's probably either Gambit or who knows. It's just I don't know. It's cool. We got a new. Is it Groot #1? Is this a Secret Wars tie-in at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. When does this take place? Because they just ended Rocket, and of course Rocket ended too. So when does this take place? I don't know. If they're gonna do a #1 during the Secret Wars, that's dumb. Like if it's not tied into Secret Wars, you know what I mean?
I am Groot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read that anyway. Groot looks fun. There's Masters of Kung Fu 2.
Man, I'm telling you, like, I did not expect to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I did.
I'm Dolian. The Battle World 2 comes out.
Okay.
Of course, Secret Wars 3, and on the cover is Mr. Fantastic.
Both of them.
Both of them, yeah. And I've gone back and I'm trying to read the Ultimate on the Ultimate. I don't know, the Marvel app where you have it's like, I don't know, $9 a month. You can actually
Marvel Unlimited. Yeah, that's
Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, they got
have the
a
whole
ton
run
on there.
Yeah, I just read the Ultimate Doom, Ultimate
Doomsday.
Yeah, Ultimate Doomsday, and it has it was like Ultimate Evil, I don't know, there's a bunch of
Ultimate. Was it Ultimate Enemy, Ultimate something,
Mystery.
and Ultimate Doom? Is that yeah?
Yep, and it's it tells the story of him. And now help me out. Where does that story pick up again? It's Ultimates, right?
No. Hang on. It actually, there's a hint of it at the end of Spider-Man, of Ultimate Spider-Man Requiem.
Oh, okay.
Like it's just like 2 pages. But yeah, like and like that explains like where he pulls everything together for the city and like all the people and everything he brings in to train in the city. But yeah, it does pick up again in the Ultimates reboot. And what was it? Ultimate Comics Ultimates.
Yeah. All right, because I kind of want to read that again because I remember reading that run, not knowing what happened
and being confused as hell. I
was confused, but then when I figured out it was him, I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
he is bad." And yeah, so I want to reread that again.
Yeah, now that you've got that in context, it's like, wow, he's really evil. Like it's intense.
And it's weird that he's one of the only Ultimate survivors from that universe.
Because he was brilliant, man, and he's like 1,000 years old.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And I thought that was so cool because it went from him being like, oh, he was killed and he's just like a kid. And I loved the callback on it, too, because I started reading from the beginning where it shows him getting, bullied and his head and like, you're like, oh, wow, they're pulling from all of that. The issues with the family. You get all of that from the first few issues of Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And you get an idea of like who his parents were and everything else and the retelling of his story. So, yeah, I thought that was cool. So, yeah, there's wait a second. There's Secret Wars 3, blah 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 blah. There's I think that's it for.
Well, the Spider-Man one too. Don't forget
the Spider-Man one, the Extinction Agenda.
Okay, that's one.
Years of Futures Past.
That's the other big one.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, so I don't know. A lot of Secret Wars this week. I'm excited as always for the Secret Wars. But if that's it, you want to get to, man, we're going on time. You want to get to Game of Thrones?
Yeah, we'll try to keep this brief-ish, maybe.
Right? Yeah. No, this episode started out a little slow to me, and then wow, holy crap!
The last 20 minutes of that episode.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that, but yeah, dude, it's. I didn't expect that. You see Cersei in her hole again. What else happened at the beginning of the episode?
I don't remember much of the beginning. Like, it was just kind of setting pieces. Yeah, we had the thing with Arya. That was interesting. That
was
sets
totally
up,
different.
Yeah, because it sets up, like, wow, she's really, dove into this whole thing.
I couldn't tell if they were just like, I'm telling a story.
I know,
or if it
right?
was or if it was like, oh, these are events that are happening, and they're just kind of brainstorming about what's going to happen, and we're seeing actually future events of her doing what he's saying.
Yeah, that was well done like that, because I was the same way. I was like, I don't know where we are.
Exactly. And then just once it gets to the Jon Snow stuff, holy shit. It just goes off from there.
Yeah.
This was probably top 5 episodes for me, for sure. That whole end scene, just like last season with the whole stuff in the north, and the war that they were doing.
Yeah.
It was that big of an episode, that epic,
Oh, this was so much bigger, I thought.
Oh yeah. It had this like. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Walking Dead with all the dead, zombies and winter's coming, and I was like, oh my god, like they're
and then like 2 minutes to go, and you're like, well, this can't get any worse, and then he's like, arise.
Right. I don't even know who that is. Like he's like some, he has like a crown almost on his head. It seems like
it's the White King.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I don't know anything about a White King.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he wasn't in the books. They kind of spoiled it. Remember when they took the baby and like he touched him on the forehead and turned him into a White Walker? That's that guy. That's that same character.
Okay, yeah. And you said that guy wasn't actually in the books at all.
At least not yet. They probably get to him at some point, but they haven't gotten to him yet.
Okay, so that's really cool. I liked and I don't know his name, the guy from the north. He was not a crow. What do they call the other? God,
the wildlings.
The wildlings, yeah, the wildling that's like with Jon Snow.
Torment.
Yeah, and I liked how he just beat the hell of that guy's head in. Yeah. and he was like, why should we listen to you? And bam, bam, bam. He's like, all right, who's coming with us?
Yeah.
And they go and talk, and it seems like everyone's in except for that one group.
Yep.
The assholes that eat each other. And then
it's
all
kind of
hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, maybe they'll change their mind eventually. Oh, crap.
Yeah, when you see winter came all over Jon Snow and everybody, it was just a mess. Like, when you see that coming down, and the music changes, and the dread, and you're like, is it an avalanche? What's going on? And then when it gets quiet, and all the people are trying to bang, and then it's quiet, and then you see the dead, and you're like, oh, fuck, it's on. Winter came. We've been warned about this every season, and it's finally
here. And here it is.
Right, and it's easily going to. I see the next few seasons, just they've been warning this, that no matter who cares about these kings, who wants to be king, all these games they're playing, it's not going to mean shit when winter comes down there. And Cersei's not going to, or not Cersei, but
Daenerys.
What?
Daenerys? Is that who
Daenerys, yeah, she's not going to want to go over there. She's going to be like, oh, that land is zombie land? Fuck that. You guys have your fun. I'll be over here, freeing slaves and being cool and having dragons, because it's not going to matter when it comes to those things. There's not enough and then we found out that it's not just dragon glass that does it. It's the Valyrian swords, right?
Well, we don't know exactly what that sword is made of.
It's Valyrian steel.
Do we know that?
Yeah,
do you
that's
remember
what they said.
When?
I don't know, seasons ago when he got it, right? That's the one with the wolf on it. It was his uncle's. And, he said there's only a few Valyrian steel swords. He had one, his brother had one, which he gave to Jon Snow. And there's only a few other people, if you remember, have it. Like, Arya has it hidden on the rocks. Tyrion has one. Remember, it was that stabbed Bran, but it was really whatever. I'm trying to think of who else has a Valyrian sword.
Brienne does, because remember they melted down Ned Stark's sword, and
they
it
gave
was
it to
Valyrian
him.
steel.
And okay, so the what's his name has it? The son, the one hand.
Jamie,
yeah. Sorry, there's so many Game of Thrones people. Yeah, so he has one, she has one, right? So they both have one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it seems like they're giving all of the main players these swords. So now when shit goes down in the next few seasons, these are going to be the people that are actually going to be able to defend themselves. I don't know.
But hang on, is Needle actually Valyrian steel?
I
don't think it was.
Well, he got it from Jon Snow, right?
No. Arya's sword.
Yeah, she got it from Jon Snow, right?
Yeah, but I don't.
How do you spell Arya?
Arya.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that one is. I think it's just a sword.
probably.
Like
I
it
thought
has
she had
special meaning to her, but I don't think that's Valyrian steel.
Let's see here. Uh,
I could be entirely wrong, but I don't know.
let's see here. Lyrian steel, forging, blah 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 blah. Um, Longclaw, House Mormont.
Right.
So Jon Snow's is.
Okay.
Um, the Lannisters have it. I'm trying to
Right.
think. Bran Stark has a dagger. By
Okay.
Tyrion Lannister.
Wait, wait, what?
Or there was the dagger that was wielded by the assassin.
Yeah, that one. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I guess Arya doesn't.
I didn't think Needle was Valyrian steel.
Well, maybe it isn't. You're right. You're absolutely right. So she's screwed. She's on the different side of the world, so
Yeah,
it's okay.
she's over in Bravos. They're fine.
She's over. So like, what does this even mean? Like, what's gonna like? They're just gonna take over and that's be it? Like I don't understand. It's I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. So, but okay. So why maybe this is for another episode because this is really going long. But why is it so rare?
It was. I guess it's just that kind of metal. Well, because it's from Valyria. That's why.
Right.
That's what
and it
Valyrian
says
steel means.
it was forged with Valyrian steel. Was forged from spells and dragonfire. So you could only create it with dragonfire. Which
There we go.
there were no dragons, but now there are.
Right.
So maybe this is going to take a combined effort, and they're going to be like,
well, I mean, I think that's kind of the idea, really.
exactly, like, Daenerys, we're going to need your help, and now it makes sense. The Song of Ice and Fire. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, dude, this show is something else. It's going to suck when it ends. And it'll probably go down as probably my favorite show of all time. But there's 3 episodes left or 2?
2.
Two.
This was 8. So
Jesus.
we've got 2
Usually
more
this
season.
is like the 9th or 10th episode.
This is usually
something like
9. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see what happens next. You read the book, so you probably
No,
know some things.
We're almost completely in uncharted territory.
Okay.
Almost. And this was not in the books.
Oh, okay. So this whole thing never happened?
This giant, zombie invasion was not in the books. It was awesome.
You know what I want? The second where he shatters that guy, that scene where he's like breaking away a little bit, I want that as like a statue. Jon Snow just destroying him.
That would make a
was
cool
such
statue.
That whole scene where I was just like, oh, he's screwed. This sword's gonna break again, and then poof, and then you see, I don't even know what you would call them, the 4 horsemen sitting up top.
Yeah, right.
They see that and they're like, oh shit.
They're like, huh.
What just happened?
That's interesting. Send the rest.
Right, and of course it has to be all these rare items that destroy them. So it can't ever be too easy.
Well, yeah.
So moving forward, it's
you notice how it always has something to do with dragons.
Yeah.
Dragon glass, the Valyrian steel has to be forged with dragon fire. Yeah.
That's totally true. I didn't even think about that. Oh man, this show, I can't wait. A few more days, because see, total difference from me talking about Game of Thrones the last few weeks.
Yeah, right.
Than it is now. Like this, they need this 2 or 3 times a season.
Well,
and I know that's asking for much.
This came when they needed it too. They couldn't wait another week for this big thing, and I think they knew that when they wrote this season out.
Oh yeah, like it's as much as Game of Thrones drags its feet, because it always does. There's always been something in the, you had Joffrey's death, you had Jaime's hand getting cut off. You had some things at the beginning of the season, the first few episodes you had Bran falling from the top. You had things where you're like, oh shit, okay, I see where this is going, or this is going to be a game changer. This season, it's like it's been a lot of moving people around.
Yeah, this has been the middle game, and I hate the middle game.
Yeah, so it's finally like, oh crap, winter's coming. Now it's
winter's here, damn it.
I really didn't think Jon Snow was going to live. I thought he's goner. The 3 of these people, that's all that's left on this little, it's very much, you never played World of Warcraft, but when I saw this whole thing go down, I'm like, that's the Lynch King from World of Warcraft.
Oh, I'm
because
familiar with the lore. I know the
Oh,
Lich King.
okay. So yeah, this is exactly World of Warcraft. You have the Lynch King with all of his dead army in Northrend or whatever. It's the exact same thing. And so, he raises people from the dead. He rose humans and works and whatever from the dead. I was like, this is straight up World of Warcraft. Or you could, maybe World of Warcraft probably stole from this, I don't know what came first. They were both in the 90s, right?
I think WoW came first, but I'm
Oh,
sure
wow.
there are probably much older stories like this that they
That's
stole from.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's all it's all relative. So but it was cool to me on that kind of level too. I was like, if World of Warcraft movie even gets close to this, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
But it
totally.
was in the scene with the kids, like the dead.
Oh man, that was just, and you knew,
That
like
was
you
eerie.
saw when you saw all those kids, you were like, yeah, she's gonna die because she
Oh
can't
yeah,
kill
I
kids.
I knew I see what you're saying. I got that feeling exactly when it
Yeah.
happened. I also did when she told them, "Bye, I'm gonna be on another boat." And they're like, "No, mother, come with us." And they're like, "I have to help the old people." I was like, "She's not gonna make it. She's dead. She's
Yeah.
good as dead."
Well, I mean, we all kind of figured like there's gonna be something happen. I was thinking, we're gonna have like a little rebellion or something.
Oh
I
yeah.
was I was not expecting that.
No, no. And then I thought Jon Snow was going to die the entire time. Like, oh, he can't get out of this. He can't get out of this. And then he had that badass hero moment, and I was like, oh shit, that's good. That
And
was a
then
good scene.
and they were like, "Yay, we found something!" And then cut to all of the dead coming back to life, and you're like,
Right,
"Well, so much for that."
right. And the giant walking with all the things that's
That was
throwing him
so
off of
cool.
him.
That was so cool.
That was so cool. Yeah, what a great episode. I'm actually think I'm gonna go rewatch that episode. Um, but man, we've talked a lot. So I think we should wrap it up. To do some, basically, go to our Facebook page. We Geek Podcast. Same thing with our Twitter. It's We Geek Podcast. Email address wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll be posting this. You should see this sometime in the midday tomorrow, like we always do. And yeah, there's a lot more we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about the movies we've been seeing, Secret Wars, any news that comes out, and probably some more Witcher 3 with me. I know. Oh, we'll get to next week about the other game that I started to play with a buddy of mine, and we'll leave it at that. Um, but anything else you want to say, Logan?
I think that about covers it.
Captain?
Captain, 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 Captain,